Mic check, 1, 2, 3.
Actually freaked me out. Like, I hadn't even retweeted it yet. Yeah, Elon shut down the entire space feature because the banned accounts can still use it. People Elon Jet in there. Yeah, I know. Which is like such a gigantic problem for a platform. It's
Check, 1, 2, 3.
He had, I don't know.
Hey, how's it going? This is a mic check.
Engineers that he hasn't fired.
Blah, blah, blah.
Could like deal with issues that
It's
happen.
a little loud.
Journalists from prominent outlets, including the Washington
What about now?
The New York Times and CNN.
Hello. Mic check, 1, 2, 3.
Policy. Andrew Dimbert starts us off. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, George. In his latest move as boss, Musk wielding his power as CEO to suspend several.
This is a little bit better, I guess.
Without much explanation overnight, however.
Oh, let's get loud! Holy shit!
People who have been critical of him. Overnight, Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, suspending the accounts of multiple journalists from news outlets, including the New York.
This is like the idiotic doxing conversation round 2 electric boogaloo, whatever you want to call it, okay? Elon is also, there's some updates on this story as well. Elon is like very mad. He's turning on Barry Weiss. We're going to get to that. Stop getting horny. I know you're spoiling it. Spoiler alert. Stop spoiling the news. Elon Musk equals full name equals doxed. Yeah.
Times, the Washington Post, and CNN.
Hello, mic check, 1, 2, 3.
The company's new doxing policy.
Hey, what's going on?
His live location. Doxing referring to sharing someone's identity, address, or other personal information online. Late Thursday, Musk joined a Twitter Spaces conference to address the decision.
Your docs?
This was the best part of this, okay? Hashtag save Ryan Mac, hashtag MacPack. So Twitter Spaces has an issue.
Hello,
Dan Rather
mic
posted
check,
his post
1,
on
2,
top profile on
3.
Twitter in fear of being banned. Man is 91 years old, and I thought he died in like 2009. No, Michael. As a matter of fact, you're talking about my
Is this still just so loud?
coworker, Dan Rather, who did do a brief.
What about now?
at the
Mic
Young
check,
Turks.
1,
Did
2,
you know
3.
that?
You get suspended. End of story. That's it.
The wave of suspensions comes on the heels.
Okay, let's watch the full video, okay? My man was in there for 3 minutes and 37
Okay,
seconds.
what
Also,
about
shouts out
now?
to
Mic
Bradley
check,
Grizzly.
1, 2, 3.
Also not
Hello,
bad.
hello.
In the last few hours with a
Get those interactions, baby.
handful of journalists being banned.
Yeah.
Seems good.
Well, as I'm sure everyone who's been
Okay,
would agree,
let's
you know,
do
showing
some
real-time
stuff.
information about somebody's location.
Manage
Yeah,
stream.
the issue with Twitter Spaces is that Elon's
Thank
website
you
broke.
for the follow,
Okay,
myself.
that's what the issue with Twitter Spaces is. So, and with no way to fix it. Okay, so when the Twitter Spaces are broken without any sort of serious fix, and the way that it's broken specifically is that people who are banned can be in the Twitter space for some reason. I don't even know how. Yeah, he banned the guy tracking his jet. He banned all jet tracking in general, and then he talked about how it was like doxing. He said these are journalists in air quotes, and it was a total abuse of power. It was a total abuse of power, completely unacceptable. And then he wanted to lick his wounds in a Twitter space, which he has deleted now. The functionality of Twitter Spaces is now deleted because they have no way of like change. Why is this an abuse of power? Why is banning tech journalists for covering tech journalism an abuse of power? I don't know. I mean, what do you think? On the media platform? Like, what do you mean? Man, it's his company. It's only like banning someone from your chat, right? That's what I was waiting for. Give me. I love.
Okay, enough with the mic checks. So this is trans women versus conservative women. Are periods essential to womanhood? Middle ground. So this is a Jubilee series called The Middle Ground.
Okay, so if I were a white person and I said I want to transition into a black person,
Oh,
and
God.
I'm redefining what blackness is to fit what I view it as.
Oh,
right?
this is amazing
Would you
already.
consider that appropriation?
I consider that dodging, and I consider that comparing apples to oranges because race and gender identity are two separate different things.
Yeah? Trans versus conservative women.
Step forward if you agree. The transgender movement is indoctrinating our youth.
Oh, God. Okay, are they not going to move at all? Or are they all going to move? I mean, obviously, this is a stupid question. This is a common myth that that conservatives love to propagate, is the idea that, like, yeah, they're transing our kids. It's bullshit. Like, it's nonsense. There we go. Let's go.
We are seeing, especially on social media, on TikTok, you're seeing a lot of people in this community really just targeting children, and you're seeing drag shows, even in conservative states like Texas, and even just media, movies. Like, it seems like everything seems to be targeted at these kids. You have
media and movies regarding, like, trans people. Dude, I watch a lot of media, and, like, I follow media and I follow movies. Like, I'm trying to think if I can even remember a trans character in anything. Orange is the New Black had a trans character. Here, trans characters in media. Celeste, in the game Celeste, media portrayals of trans people. Did that just say Danny Phantom? No shot. Animations, list of fictional trans characters. List of animated series with LGBTQ characters. Dude, I just want to see Danny Phantom. List of video games. Yeah, okay. Danny. No? List of animated series with LGBTQ characters. 90s, 2000s. Danny. No? Billy and Mandy? Where? Oh my god. There's... Okay. Because they have to break these up into, like, all these little articles, there seems to be more than I expected. So, Billy and Mandy. Billy. Okay, Danny. Danny. Well, what the fuck? Static Shock had a trans character, or a gay character. Was based on an openly gay character. So he, like, was queer-coded? It's kind of soft. I don't know. I wanted, like, legit, like, this character is LGBT level. Where's Danny Phantom? Where did I see Danny Phantom? Right here. Right here. Danny Phantom. List of fictional trans characters. Where's the list? Oh, do I see it right here? Pfft, I'm so stupid. Hanley Abrams in Mass Effect. And Mass Effect Andromeda. Who's Hanley Abrams? I don't remember her. Trans character. Interesting. I do not remember this character one bit, but that's cool. Let's go. RuneScape. That's a game I played when I was younger. Birdo? That's a man? Oh, it's... The English manual for Mario Bros. 2, I think I heard about this, refers to Birdo as a male who thinks he is a girl and would prefer to be called Birdetta. Some interpret this as them being transgender, which would make them the first transgender video game character. That is the least charitable way to word that, right? Who thinks he is a girl? Like, no. If he is a girl, he is a girl, okay? Trans women are women, you know, that sort of thing. So, yeah, so Birdo is AMAB, assigned male at birth. That's cool. But she goes by she. That's cool. Who else? Lev in Last of Us Part 2. Everyone knows about that. That freaked people the fuck out because they're stupid. What else that I know of? Ned Weinart in Assassin's Creed and So the original? Ned Weinart is a minor NPC and a trans man. Well, who are you, Ned? Oh, this person seems familiar. 1840? So they're not in they just meant the series. Assassin's Creed. Usually it says first appearance. Okay, only appearances in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Okay. Interesting. I did not know Syndicate. I only played a little bit of Syndicate. I did not know Syndicate had a trans person. That's cool. Literature, yeah, I just wanted... So that's video games. Animation, let's go. I saw Danny Phantom? What? How do you tease Danny Phantom and then he's not there? All right, what do we got? Bob's Burgers. Ida Davis, Family Guy. Yep, everyone knows Ida. Excuse me. Bob's Burgers again. Is this by year? Okay, let's go by year. Interesting. Rocco's Modern Life. Rachel is revealed to be a transgender woman. Oh. I hope it's not played for laughs. That's the only thing. Like, if it's played for a goof, that sucks. One of my favorite shows ever, Futurama. Hermaphrodite. Do I remember this? Oh, yeah. This is transphobic. Hermaphrodite is transphobic. As much as I love Futurama, with this, they're going for the ha ha ha, this is a man dressing up as a woman. That's the joke. Like, ha ha ha, this man is calling himself a woman, quote unquote, is what they're saying. Obviously, if this character is transgender, then they are a woman. Obviously, it does list no shot. Gender female, mechanically male. In the Futurama Wikipedia, they have to list that this person, this robot, was assigned male robot at birth. That is hilarious. Is it a little bit offensive? I don't know. Hermaphrodite doesn't show up too often. Yeah, every once in a while. So, season 1, episode 13, 2 of the TV movies, couple episodes in season 6, and 1 episode of season 7, and then a couple of the comics. Yeah, it's been a while since I rewatched Futurama. But yeah, this is a little bit of a transphobic character for sure. What else do we got? Yeah. So now we're into like modern day, where you're gonna get more positive trans people generally. Okay. Who, Danny Phantom? Why are they teasing Danny Phantom? Oh well, let's keep going. What did she say? Oh yeah, they're transing our kids. BS.
Drag story hour for kids, and it's just really, I think, predatory in a way. And I'm not saying,
dude, oh my god, what the fuck do you mean predatory?
Every trans person is doing this, but as a whole, there does seem to be a route that they're taking to get to the kids.
And when you hear Blue's Clues playing...
What? That was like complete nonsense. That was like cherry-picked Fox News talking points and like nothing else.
In the next room, and then you hear the gay parade song. It's Blue's Clues. You're not expecting to be talking to the children about that. Yeah. It really makes you wonder, are they really coming for the children?
And I think we see...
What the fuck does that mean? Are they really coming for the children? Like, to what end? Like, what is the end goal to transing our kids? Like, if there is as they think, some kind of like nefarious reasoning to like introducing children to LGBT concepts, like the very existence of people in the LGBT community. What would be the end goal? Like the end goal being more gay kids, more trans kids. But like, what is the motivation for that? Why would I, as a nefarious liberal, get out of transing your kids or making your kids gay? What do I get out of it? Like, I wish they would explain that. They never can seem to explain. They're just saying they're transing your kids, but they never can say why. Maybe they'll say why. Let's find out.
In our population now, the rate of young children who are identifying as transgender, non-binary is skyrocketing.
Fuck, I keep pausing, but come on, dude. I'm left-handed, okay? Left-handed graph. It's like, this is the graph everyone's seen this graph. It's just like, wow, where did all these left-handed people come from? Guess what, you fucking dumbass? They've always been here, okay? They just stopped being oppressed. And the same with the LGBTQ people. Are you telling me that they haven't been oppressed? They have. And that's why you haven't seen them around. They're like, you, Amala, host of PragerU's Unapologetic Live? Oh my god, dude. Hold on, I just got a text from my significant other. Someone else has it too. Has what? Can you see my phone? Dude, they can't bring like pros onto this. This is not the first time that happened. There was one I watched Hassan watch not too long ago. This one. Conservative parents versus liberal teachers. I think that this conservative parent is like CEO of PragerU. You know what I mean? Like literally. So they're bringing on like Jubilee. I don't know. It feels like something that needs more context for me to like really get outraged about it. But I do find it strange that Jubilee is bringing on like pros, like host of PragerU shows, pros, to talk to, at least in the other one, like normal people. You know what I mean? It should be like normal people versus normal people, or fucking professionals versus fucking professionals. It should not be one or the other. Even if they got like, you know, liberal, like if they brought Hassan onto this versus like a bunch of three like fucking hog normies, it would be a little weird, right? Like, unless the point was for Hassan to educate them, which they should say that in the title. If the point is for Amala of PragerU to educate people, that's fucked up, because anything PragerU is educating you on is going to be disgusting and horrible. Two, they don't mention that in the title. Like, this isn't like conservative thought leaders trying to convince normies or like, you know, regular people of their horrific beliefs. Like, they don't put that in the title or in the description. Was tested for COVID-19. Were they vaccinated? Who knows? No, this is silly though. This is stupid.
And I think there's something to be said for people who are truly experiencing gender dysphoria, which we recognize exists.
God,
and those who are...
I hate the way they like look at her, like fucking look at her smug ass face. Like, I've seen this just enough to know you say the like kernel of something nice, like people who go through gender dysphoria go through a lot. We need to help them. In one moment, and then in the next moment, they're going to say the most like horrific, cruel, transphobic thing you can imagine. It's calculated. It's tactical. It's horrible. A person like this should not be on a show like this. It's fucking ridiculous.
Experiencing what is now going to be called, or in the future going to be called, this social contagion gender dysphoria, where...
Wait, what? Hold on, I gotta repeat because I've been just chatting, but the social contagion theory can be traced back to a 2018 paper. Okay, what?
Experiencing gender dysphoria in our population now, the rate of young children who are identifying as transgender, non-binary is skyrocketing. And I think there's something to be said for people who are truly experiencing gender dysphoria, which we recognize exists, and those who are experiencing what is now going to be called, or in the future going to be called, this social contagion.
Shut the fuck up, you disgusting piece of shit, okay? Yeah, I can tell this person is a pro, having worked in media, having worked in fucking marketing. I can tell what this person is doing. I can tell you right now. They're trying, like the way she said that, like normalizing this idea of this social contagion thing. The way she says it is to try and normalize it, right? What will soon be called this social contagion theory. No, it won't. That's a fucking conspiracy theory. What is PLOS1? I'm not saying it's a peer-reviewed scientific theory. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't seem like it's any particular. Wait. What is this section? What is this section? Hold on. Response to controversial publications. Oh no. In August 27, 2018, the editors of PLOS1 initiated a reevaluation of an article published 2 weeks earlier by the Brown University Lisa Littman. All right, who is Lisa Littman? I gotta know. Is she a reactionary? Conducting study. Shut the fuck up. Conducting research on gender dysphoria, desistance. What is this? One focus. Oh, okay. Desensitization. Desensitance? So that's becoming desensitized of crime? Or what is this? To focus on desisters? So this people who experienced gender ultimately decide not to trans. Okay, so she's focused. She's a transphobic researcher. The last bit here, detransition. So she is like transphobe in chief. What? Let's see. Dude. She published this in 2018. Okay? September 2022. Oh God, what is this, dude? Oh my God. Dubious transgender. Dude. Detrans Awareness Day. Dude. This person is like the biggest transphobe ever. Holy shit, dude. Yeah, of course they're gonna publish an article about this fake ass rapid onset gender dysphoria controversy proposed in a 2018 study. So this is like the most transphobic person in academia published a bunk study that this fucking sociopath is referencing. That's insane. And the fucking Jubilee taking the fucking middle of the road approach. Like, if you're a normie and you're not going to look this up, you're going to see it's a 2018 published, like, you can Google PLOS1, and it appears to be a peer-reviewed open access journal. Trustworthy. They're not giving the full amount of context here. They're being, like, profoundly charitable to the transphobic opinion here. I would love to see if they're going to give any sort of similar, like, leeway to the pro-trans side of this argument. Oh my God, we're already 2 minutes in. I've been talking for like 20 minutes. Oh my God, I'm worse than Hassan. This is fucking ridiculous. Holy shit, dude. What a giant pile of shit.
Gender dysphoria, where they're being exposed to it on social media or in school, or mom and dad are having a conversation about it with children.
I'm spending like an hour complaining. Okay, thank God, Jubilee. Okay, you got some brownie points back for me. I'll let the video go before I pause again. Okay, for a little bit longer. We'll read this though. After intense debate and criticism, PLOS1 issued a correction that they did not survey transgender or gender diverse youth themselves, but actually surveyed their parents, who are probably, statistically, going to be reactionary. Rapid onset gender dysphoria is not a formal mental health diagnosis at this time. Good. But she's saying, oh, it's going to be soon. Oh, this is this thing they're talking about. No. One transphobic piece of shit researcher invented this thing out of nowhere It is not going to be picked up by the greater international scientific community. That is fucking nonsense.
And children are now starting to develop gender confusion.
Or even babies, right? People who are being born, they don't have to put the gender on the birth certificate, and they're saying you can choose whatever you want to be. Like, that's so dangerous. And even lying to them.
Why? Why? Oh no, I clicked.
Okay, so if I
But why is that dangerous?
to put the gender on the birth certificate, and they're saying you can choose whatever you want to be. Like, that's so dangerous.
Like, look at her tone, dude. Even she knows she can't back that statement up. I said this earlier in the video. They're transing our kids. They're gaying our kids. Why? To what end? The babies. To what end? Why is this dangerous?
Even lying to them, saying like, oh, if we put you on hormone blockers at this age, it won't do anything to your puberty. It won't affect you long term. And it's just a straight up lie.
The science on like puberty blockers is pretty open and shut. Like, this is another place where Jubilee needs to have a pop-up saying, you know, there's like very little evidence of any sort of adverse effects to puberty blockers.
And there's like an entire Reddit thread dedicated to people who've transitioned.
Okay, probably a subreddit. I don't know much about the detransition community, to be honest. That's something I'd like to maybe discuss with a transgender person, just a little bit more. But my gut says like half of that detransition thread, i.e. subreddit, is probably just reactionaries pretending to be trans. Who the hell remembers the Republican politician? Republican pretends he's black. Inquirer. He posted it on the main. He forgot to change his account. I'm a black gay guy, and I can personally say that Obama did nothing for me. My level and changed. Yeah, this was big news. Here's the full thread. He forgot to change his account. Incredible.
Talking about how much they hate their life now because they transitioned as a child and now they amputated off healthy body parts and are miserable.
Like, the real statistics show that like this like I said, I don't know much about detransition. I know that the real statistics are it's incredibly uncommon.
All right. Can the disagreeer step forward?
Oh, we got 4 disagreeers?
The fact that...
Okay, so they're a little bit outnumbered. So because they have a PragerU fucking psychopath here, they gave the like pro-trans argument an extra person.
The trans movement has got people shook, has me so excited. The trans movement is not indoctrinating our youth. Our youth are understanding who they are at a younger age. And from what I was hearing...
That's the truth. That's the absolute truth. Now, how do you quantify that is a little bit difficult. You can look at like detransition statistics, like how many youth who are transgender, who are, you know, gay or non-binary, you know, whatever, how many of them go, actually, I'm cisgendered straight, you know? Very few. I want to say this earlier in the video, but to the reactionaries here that are like, they're transing your kids, they're transing you, they're transing me, this is some kind of weird trend. Try and like pretend to be gay. You know what I mean? Like, if you're straight, try and like, even like think about like feeling like you're the gender you're not. Like, you can't do it. I could not pretend to be gay. Like, it's just physically, like, that's how it is for them. And that's something that they just don't understand.
Over here is a lot of what y'all were saying. I wonder would you say it to the parents? Because we need to really look at what the parents of trans youth really go through. Trans youth, instead of them enjoying their life, playing with their friends, they're up in legislation trying to fight for basic rights here.
Fuck
1 in
yes.
5 transgender youth have tried to commit suicide. Why are we trying to police them?
But you're bringing it only to the parents. The question was indoctrination in general, am I correct? And then,
But they're a part of that conversation. Someone said something about drag shows coming to schools or whatnot. The kids enjoyed it. The parents just had a problem with it. But that's their issue. It's only someone dressed in drag reading a story.
Is
that could
drag
have been
not
anybody.
blackface for women? I see it.
Did Hassan react to this? I kind of want to watch Hassan's reaction. Hassan Jubilee trans. This week. Did Hassan not watch this? Dude, that's lame. She just said, are trans women blackface for women?
It is a caricature of womanhood.
Oh my god, this fucking piece of shit just said that to another human being right there, a trans person. What a fucking pile of garbage, dude.
It's sexual as well.
I have to agree with you guys. I do
insulting.
not like the drag queen social hours. I personally...
On November 19th, one day before a gunman opened fire and said, yeah.
As a trans person, didn't ever go to a drag show until I was about 40. I'm not for the sexualization of kids. Why are we not letting kids be kids and bringing sex into their lives so early?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about drag shows. Maybe there is some kind of inherent sexuality to them. So maybe there's a discussion to be had there. But like, what if it was just trans people? Like, drag people who dress in drag aren't necessarily trans, right? But what if it was just trans reading hour? How would they feel about that? Exactly the same way. There's nothing sexual about being a trans person. Nothing sexualized about being a trans person. They like to put that spin on it, like the idea that like two gay men kissing in a Disney movie is sexual, but two straight people kissing in a Disney movie somehow isn't. That's something that they like to sexualize the LGBTQ experience. So, and I think that's why they feel this way about drag queens talking to or reading stories to kids. Yeah, I don't know too much about what's going on there. What are they wearing? I don't know. So again, if there is, this is like a lot of things reactionaries talk about. If there is even like a kernel of something maybe worth discussing, they always barrel to the worst possible, least charitable interpretation of the discussion. Anyways.
I think it's predatory in general to talk about sex with children.
Yeah.
Straight sex.
Who's talking about sex though? Like, you're just. Oh my god. I'm gonna stop pausing.
Any kind of sex.
Who's teaching sex?
Thank you, Blossom. Holy shit! Exactly. Who acknowledging non-cisgendered people, non-straight people exist is not teaching kids anything related to sex any more than saying you have a mommy and daddy are. You know what I mean?
To third grade children. I really want to know.
Have you looked at the California curriculum for sex?
Oh my god, is this a reactionary? Is this a Bruce Jenner? I mean, she's older. So is this like a Bruce Jenner scenario where like she's like a reactionary trans person? Like, you can't control being trans. Like, obviously a lot of trans people tend to be progressive because we're the only ones saying we don't want to fucking shoot you in the head. But you can absolutely be a reactionary, like, conservative trans person. So I'm wondering if that's who this is. She is not listed as one of these conservative women. She's just trans. And I guess when you see that, you think, yeah, they're probably progressive leaning. But so far, she has been spouting, like, some pretty transphobic stuff, ironically.
Education? You need to.
I know that when I was in preschool, I got my first crush on a boy, because to me at the time, he was in kindergarten, he looked like Prince Eric from
Little Mermaid.
Yeah, Little Mermaid. I don't think like fucking him ever crossed my mind when I was 4, but
yeah, my first crush was, I think, in like 2nd grade. And yeah, like, you can have crushes and you can like feel, you know, something towards the opposite sex, or to someone at that age, without obviously like knowing what that feeling is.
Obviously, like, it would have been good to know that, like, it's okay, like, if you have these feelings for someone of the same sex.
When we think of youth in general, they're having sex at a lot younger age, whether we like it or not. Let's just keep it 100% real.
You don't think it's because of that?
I do not think it's because of that. It starts at home with parents teaching their children, because one or two things is going to happen. Either you teach your children or the world is going to teach your kids. That's the reality of it.
They are learning about it at younger ages from some adult, or even their peers who learned about it from adults. That is, in definition, indoctrination. As a mother, and seeing what my children are going to have to be introduced to at such a young age, like, I didn't even know what a gay person was till I was like 12. And so.
You didn't know what a gay person was till you were 12? Dude, you're like 31. That should tell you everything you need to know about where Aaliyah's from, the people her parents interacted with, and the people she interacted with.
So they're going to be...
because I have a similar experience. The only, like, I'm not saying, like, that's impossible. It's absolutely possible. Is anyone here? No. I had a reactionary upbringing for the most part. My parents were apolitical and didn't care that much. Socially conservative. I was taught LGBTQ were sick. That's what my parents literally taught me. Both of them, medical doctors, from the old country. But they taught me that LGBTQ people were sick, especially trans people were like sick. Like they like, not like, like sick as in like ill. You know what I mean? They have something that can be cured. And even my mom today, it has some transphobic attitudes. Maybe I'll talk about them in a minute. But I grew up solely around reactionaries, really right-wing people. So I'm lucky I broke out. But my point is, some people don't break out. Some people grow up with reactionaries, and then they become Aaliyah over here. Oh, God, excuse me. No, what my mom says now, like, as I've grown more progressive, she's kind of become more progressive too. But she's still, like transphobia is going to be the last, like, thing conservatives have. Like, they don't have racism anymore. Racism's bad. They've pretty much almost lost LGBTQ people, or gay people. This, like, what is the statistic for gay acceptance now in America? It's like 76% or something, or 67%. Huge amount already. They're losing gay people. Transphobia is like their last, like, social war that they can fight. Before normies eventually just 20 years from now, they're not going to win the social wars. Absolutely not. And in like 20 years from now, it's going to be like totally acceptable to be trans for most people, Anyway, let's hear what she has to say.
Having these really heavy adult conversations at a really young age.
God, I hate how fucking smug conservatives are. Like, she knows she's saying bullshit to be shitty to people who are marginalized, and she's like relishing it. You can tell. Look at her. She's relishing being a shitty person
because of their exposure, and that is honestly just scary because I don't want to have those conversations. That's why I will be homeschooling my kids.
No, dude. Please don't. Oh my God. Those poor fucking kids. You're not going to give them a fucking chance. Oh, that sucks, dude. Oh my God.
Because I do believe it is my responsibility to protect them and shield.
Wasn't she just talking about indoctrination? You want to indoctrinate them, you fucking idiot.
Them.
The call with conservatives, the call is always coming from inside the house.
From the outside world, which is targeting children.
The trans community.
Evidence, evidence, evidence. Please, you can't just always say... They just keep saying this over and over again, over and over. Is Jubilee cutting out all the evidence? I want to see evidence. Where are they targeting children? How are they targeting children? My bigger question, why? Why would liberals, progressives, whatever, trans people, gay people, target children?
Community and the trans movement is really shaking the course of what people think gender identity is supposed to be.
So in one sentence, you're saying that you guys are not responsible for the indoctrination that's currently happening with
Absolutely
children.
not.
And in the second sentence, you are saying we are shook by the fact that you are responsible for it.
No, you are shook at the fact that the trans movement has become what it is.
And a movement that influences people all over the world, and particularly children. And
They can't bring a pro, man. Like, you have to have another pro. Like, just being trans isn't enough. I'm sorry. Like, obviously you can defend yourself very well, and Blossom's doing a great job. But, like when you get to, like, I have a, like, PragerU with their huge budgets is able to hire me to do a show. Like, this person is in, like, the top 1% of 1% of 1% of, like, smart, nefarious, well-informed sociopaths. That is what this person... She's so far away. Can I do this? Can I do this? Which way? That way? That is what this person is. Okay, what I just said. A smart, nefarious sociopath who wants to hurt people she doesn't like. Hang on, my screen is not right. There we go.
see it in the fact that the number of young people identifying as transgender, non-binary, gender fluid, genderqueer is skyrocketing, which means that children are...
I'm sorry, I just... Can someone show her this? Like, my fucking God. Like, what the fuck?
Being exposed to these ideas, and it's certainly coming from institutions like the media, like Hollywood, like our public institutions and schools. So to say that that is not happening, or to deny that that is the reality, negates the numbers that we're seeing.
What I would say is that the idea that there is a single transgender movement and ideology is disingenuous, and that at its core, being transgender is about separating sex from sex roles and gender roles that are compulsory.
Do you think that children should be able to transition medically?
No.
I think...
No?
So they like managed to find a Bruce Jenner, like a reactionary trans person. So like, oh my God, dude. So they get two kind of normie pieces of shit transphobes, like a fucking pro. Then you get three kind of normal trans people. But because they got their pro, you can have a fourth trans person. But they're gonna be a reactionary trans person. So that's even, folks.
No.
It just really depends on each individual situation. They should be able to make the best medical decision for...
Can someone just say, like, anything regarding youth? Anything, any decision made regarding youth, transgender people is not made flippantly. There's no, like, one doctor, like, you know, in one clinic in, like, fucking Massachusetts that everyone's flooding to because everyone knows he signs the fucking double mastectomy for my fucking 11-year-old fucking paper or whatever, you know, whatever you call it. That doesn't exist. Every single instance of anything regarding transgender youth care, mental care, physical care, whatever you want, goes through unthinkable amounts of scrutiny from both the kid, psychologists they talk to, their doctor, their parents. There's so many, like, filters you have to go through before anything happens to you. So the idea that this is just, like, again, like the way they're portraying it, like some kind of flippant thing that they're doing every minute to anyone who wants it, is ridiculous.
For them.
I am comfortable sharing bathrooms with the other side.
With the other side? So like, are these? Where did? Wasn't there a fourth person, or am I crazy? Did I miss? Why did I think there was a fourth person? Dude, am I just like high? What the fuck?
All right. Can the disagreeer step forward?
Yeah, there's 4 people here, but only 3 additional chairs. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I saw 4 people sitting down.
The trans movement has got.
Okay, so there's not even a dude. Jubilee stacked the fucking deck for the transphobes. They've got like a fucking pro, and they've got a reaction. They've got Bruce Jenner. I keep saying Bruce Jenner. Oh my god. Dude, I'm the transphobe. Oh my god, this whole video I said Bruce Jenner. I keep saying it. Oh my god. I'm dead naming someone. That's shitty. Hey. This can be a learning lesson, okay? This shows transphobia, racism. We all do shit like this internally because we have like the systemic transphobia. You know what I mean? Like, to where a progressive person, will do that without thinking is how like transphobic attitudes invade every aspect of our lives, and racist attitudes do the same thing. What is her name? I want to say Kylie Jenner, but it's not. It's oh god. I don't want to like Wikipedia that person's dead name. Oh my god. What's Kylie Jenner? Caitlyn Jenner is her name. They got Caitlyn Jenner. I kept calling her by her dead name, which was shitty.
People shook has me so excited. The trans movement is not indoctrinated.
We are here.
I am comfortable sharing bathrooms with the other side.
So like, I don't know. Obviously, my perspective as a male is gonna be different from an assigned female at birth person. But this is another one of those discussions that, admittedly, has a lot of nuance. Okay, in the sense that like, men often physically assault women. So like, yeah. That's why we have separate bathrooms, potentially. But the idea that, like, someone's going to transition, go through that whole process, just to go into someone's bathroom to assault someone is completely nonsensical. There's no evidence of this happening. Millions of transgender people all over the world, no evidence of this happening. From my perspective, I have no issues with sharing a bathroom with a transgender man, you know, who was assigned female at birth, who identifies as a man, who wants to use the male bathroom. No issues whatsoever. I don't have any issues if a woman wants to use the men's bathroom, but men are fucking creepy, and I totally get why women would prefer to have privacy from men. And maybe, I don't know, would some men prefer to have privacy from women? I don't know. I'm just rambling. But this is a non-issue. Obviously, these 3 are going to be like, no, go use the men's bathroom, you fucking men. But that's a psychotic and hateful and bigoted stance. Which, again, has, like, the smallest kernel of something worth discussing, but they always take it to, like, the worst possible place.
Yes, I feel comfortable. Safe? That might be a different question, but comfortable? Yes, I feel comfortable.
Hold on.
Safe? That might be a different question, but...
Even the fucking, like, Caitlyn Jenner stand-in is like, dude, we are not there to assault you, okay? We're not there to do that. Like, you're ridiculous.
Comfortable? Yes, I feel comfortable.
What I think the bath.
So she feels comfortable, but not safe? What the fuck does that even mean?
Bathroom issue opens up is an issue of predatory men taking advantage of the opening. That now they could walk into a women's bathroom or a women's locker room, as we've seen happen in instances like here in Los Angeles at We Spa, and they go into a women's.
Oh my God. It's hard to articulate this, man. One instance is like all they always have. Millions of trans people all over the world. One thing happens and they're like, this is clear, this is an epidemic, okay? I don't even know where I was going with that. I'm just so frustrated that like this person is here at all.
Women's space, they expose themselves to the women, and then they say, well, I'm a trans woman and you've opened up this space for me.
But we cannot blame trans people for that.
Nobody's blaming you.
That's the problem right here. Because again, when you walk into the bathroom, I'm not interested in knowing what you are, what you identify as. I'm trying to use the bathroom and leave out of there. What people have tried to say is that when trans women go in the bathrooms, they're being predatory, and that is not the case. That is something we do not blame on trans women. Although you were not saying that, when we talk about predatory behavior and when we talk about like the predatory cases, none of them have been trans women. So I just want to make sure, I know she's not strictly doing that, but because she said that, I think it's very important that I bring that out on the table and discuss that.
We have to have the conversation, and I'll open up the question. We know that if this legislation happens, if we move forward with this move, there are going to be men who take advantage of it. Now, I want to ask you.
See, this is what they do. This is what she did earlier with the, that fucking fake ass study. You say something, make it sound normal. Like, we know men are going to do this. Like, you can't just say that. Like, prove it. Like, if a man wanted to go assault a woman in a bathroom, he can just go do that. Like, what is, like, the law saying, like, saying that trans women can go use women's bathrooms? How is that going to make it, like, any easier for a man to just walk in and assault a woman? They can do that right now if they wanted to. What a stupid fucking argument. I don't want to say she's a stupid person. She's this is hard. She's not stupid. That's the problem. She's clearly very informed and is a very smart person. That's why PragerU has her on a show. This is a PragerU host.
Is your comfort as far as going to the bathroom more important than the female women that will be victimized by this?
Who said female women will be victimized by this?
They will, and they have.
Let's go, Blossom! Dude, Blossom is fucking sick. Like, you've got Caitlyn Jenner, and then you've got the other person who's, like, not doing much either. Blossom has the whole fucking weight of the world on her shoulders right now, and she is fucking killing it with this other piece of shit.
No, you're only assuming, but the reality of it is, again...
Fuck off, dude. You are a giant pile of garbage, dude.
When people are going into the restroom...
God.
When people are only going into the restroom, they're only focused on doing one or two things, and that's using the restroom.
Yeah,
But you didn't answer the question. Is your comfort more important than the female people who could be victimized by this?
Okay, so...
Dude! I wish I was there. If a man or transgender woman wanted to go assault a woman in a bathroom, they could do it just as easily right now as if it was legal for trans women to use women's bathrooms. Period. Someone needs to say that.
Let me help her answer the question. Which one do you think I'm going to get the kicked out of me in? It wasn't the women's restroom. The issue that you're bringing up, first of all, is already violating a whole bunch of laws. Okay? If somebody's exposing themselves in a bathroom, that's a whole different environment rather than just letting trans people in.
Let's go.
In California, it's right now 100% legal for trans people to go use the bathroom of their choice. So I don't know what law you're talking about.
You're asking this question.
It's like either they cut it or she didn't have anything to say. Like she just said, there's a law, and then had nothing to back it up with. That's what she keeps doing, this piece of shit. Not Blossom. Blossom is a fucking queen, and I love her. But that other piece of shit keeps saying things without any sort of evidence to back it up.
As if I would not stand up for cis women that were in the restroom, and that's not the case. Nice dodge there. But the reality of it is,
what a piece of
one thing
shit.
I'm
What a
noticing
piece
is
of
we're
shit.
reducing a lot of these particular conversations to genitalia, and it's not about genitalia. It's about safety.
Yeah, her concern is the possibility of predation, and that's still a probability. It doesn't matter if trans people are using the restroom or not.
Thank you. Holy shit. Thank God, dude. I'm glad it's coming from Gina, who I thought was only going to be like the least charitable person possible. But like it is one of those things where like you have to be able to intuit that, especially if you're trans, right?
Sure. But what you're concerned about is that you're possibly that people feel more emboldened to put on women's clothes and go into the bathroom. But they're still violating the law all over the place if that's the purpose.
It's just to make it easier to sneak in, like where is this happening? Like, I'm trying to think, like at a restaurant, you know what I mean? Like you're at like Applebee's, okay, and you want to go. You're a piece of shit, and you just like you woke up that morning and you're like, I want to assault a woman. You're gonna like go out and buy women's clothing, pretend you're trans, go to the fucking Applebee's and follow a woman into a public Applebee's bathroom and assault her. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, one, you're in public. Like, so, like, you're not gonna, like, assault a woman in a restaurant bathroom. Whether you're wearing women's clothing or not has no effect on that. The other scenario is you're not in a public bathroom. It's late at night, and this is like, I don't know, a subway bathroom at 2 a.m. or something. And there's no one around. Well, there's no one around. Why is the man pretending to be a woman, gonna dress up as a woman just to sexually assault you? There's no one around. They can just do it in the bathroom anyway. And even if they were wearing women's clothing and they're sexually assaulting you, they're still going to go to jail no matter what. It doesn't matter if they're trans or not. This argument is completely nonsensical. And I'm glad Gina or anyone is like pushing back on this.
That they're going in for.
Yeah, so I didn't step forward because, and I know in today's age this is going to sound very radical, and but I don't agree with the whole transgender ideology, and so for
transgender ideology? What the hell does that mean?
For me, it's encouraging something that is based in what I feel is delusion. And so I don't think that we should be encouraging that by allowing men into women's restrooms.
I think that if that's the case,
that edit though,
to some extent, all gender is delusion. If we're looking at historically anywhere from, midwives after the enclosure of the commons in the 1400s, having their whole trade affected, or Brewsters having their trade affected, and now we don't think of women as, Brewsters, or that creating beer is a womanly thing. These all came from social conditions. These all came, a lot of gender regardless of biological sex. It didn't like naturally flow out of our genitals and like it was like, you know, we're like, this is how my genitals are, so this is like how my gender is gonna be. That didn't happen. That's not life. Like a lot of people who are either transgender or who are LGBT in general, all my friends were girls. At first, I just remember there were a lot of things where like I would kind of like come up against people telling me that that's wrong, like that whether it's something I like, something I want to do. It wasn't until kindergarten that like someone told me that I'm a boy, and I was like, oh, I don't feel comfortable going to any bathroom in this world. Like,
that's fucking... Dude, I have so much fucking sympathy for trans people, man. Like, marginalized people at all will tell you something like this. Like, I don't feel comfortable with X. I'm a straight white man. I don't really have that. The closest, and I don't want to make this about myself. This is about trans people who experience real issues. But I don't know. My perspective on this is, as the son of immigrants to the United States, I always felt a little bit like something was off about me. Like I didn't feel American enough. I didn't feel like my parents were. I remember thinking I wish I had American parents and not the parents that I had, the Georgian parents that I had. I remember thinking that at certain points in my life, and feeling weird in school. Like I hated every year. I hated hearing my name called because no one could pronounce my last name. And they would say, you know, my name, and the teacher would butcher it, and everyone would look at me, and I always felt othered, like just by their looks. Like I knew what it meant to them, that there was this weird guy who came from a weird country, who had weird parents, so he's not going to be one of us. And I felt uncomfortable everywhere. Everywhere I had to say my name, and I still feel that today. Actually, my name is Dimitri. I still feel like me just saying my name like tells you something about me that isn't true. I hate that I made that about myself, but the point that I was originally trying to say was how sad that this person can't feel comfortable using any bathroom anywhere. That is like the most tragic thing I've ever heard. Like I want to fucking cry. Like, it's such a, like, simple thing that you don't even think about. Like, I don't think about. I use a men's bathroom every single day, you know, 5 fucking times a day. I pee a lot at work. And it's just, I don't even think about it. I walk in, I do my business, and I walk out. The idea that something like that, 5 times a day, I would have to go in and feel uncomfortable is a travesty. Like something as important and simple as using a bathroom, this person feels marginalized and othered by it. Either bathroom, she's going to feel marginalized if she uses either bathroom. Because if she uses the male bathroom, she's going to get looks from reactionary men. And if she uses the female bathroom, she'll get reactionary looks from fucking she'll get looks from reactionary women. It's a travesty. And again, like, really one of the saddest things I've heard in a while. Like, that this person can't feel comfortable using something as simple as a public bathroom. Horrible. Absolutely horrible.
In the current society we live in, and to make trans women the whipping girls of that, I think that's disingenuous, but I do think that we need a systemic change to make ourselves safer. I don't really know anyone who doesn't feel a little bit uncomfortable going to the bathroom.
And trans people are not a delusion. Let's make it very clear. We're here. We've been here for ages. We've been here since the beginning.
Wait, what? Hang on. That's hilarious, dude. Anyway.
Of time. We're in your history books. And I think it's very disingenuous to say that a whole identity is a delusion.
I believe that you feel like women. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there is an objective truth, and I don't believe in his truth, her truth, their truth, my truth. Like, there is truth, and...
Who defined that truth?
And, like, it's already defined, and I, as a Christian, I believe God is the one who set truth.
But who defined that?
You got nothing! You fucking piece of shit! You've got nothing! It's already defined as a Christian. Oh my god, dude! That's fucking amazing! She cornered you and you fucking tucked away with your tail between your legs, dude. Holy shit! That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. This was the best thing I've ever seen. Like, so clearly has nothing of value to say. No argument whatsoever. As a Christian, boom, you're done. You've lost. Get the fuck out of this room. Holy shit, dude. That, oh my god. That was perfect. I wish I could fucking turn that into like a fucking like snack that I could eat. Rick and Morty style. Oh my god, I love that, dude. God, what a piece of shit. What a dumb piece of shit. Not dumb because she's a Christian. Dumb because they're fucking transphobic piece of shit who cannot justify their belief at all. So they have to call in their fucking, you know, imaginary friend to say, my imaginary friend says trans people are bad, so trans people are bad. Oh my god. Ironic. But wow. That was amazing, dude. I gotta see that again.
Truth. And
who defined that truth?
And like, it's already defined, and I, as a Christian,
it's already defined. Boop. I got nothing. As a Christian, no one said anything about religion till now, until this exact moment, because they had, you know, your shitty talking points, but then you get to this point. It all, you dig, you eventually get to a point where transphobes have no argument, where racists have no argument. All that's left is my religion. My imaginary friend.
I believe God is the one who set truth.
But who defined that?
Is the truth.
Can you tell me who defined that?
God.
Living in the Bible Belt with religion taking center stage, it's
That
hard
was
for a lot of trans and non-binary folks like myself to really be able to express who they are. I had to really take on my gender dysphoria in private. I couldn't talk to my mom about it. I couldn't talk to my dad, my siblings, because ultimately I felt like it wasn't going to lead to anything because there wasn't a lot of education in the cis community like there is in the trans and non-binary community. We're talking about a book that was written by man with his own bias.
Who created chromosomes?
Yeah, I'm personally not religious.
Stop! Did she just ask who created chromosomes? Dude, you are dealing with, like, completely brain dead people at this point. So if you're at who created chromosomes? Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Who created chromosomes? God, transphobes, dude. It's so sad.
And I believe in science.
When we talk about chromosomes, this goes back to the conversation we were talking about earlier about being intersex.
But we're not talking about intersex. We're talking about people who were born as a male and they tried to transition. The whole fact that they're trying to transition into a female in the first place shows that they aren't actually that, or else there would be no need to transition, right? So you say, okay, I feel like a woman. What is that? What does that feel like?
Yeah, how does that?
And how do you know?
I'm not saying I feel like a woman. I am a woman.
Let's go! Fuck yeah, Blossom! Dude, that was sick. Fucking sick. And look at these smug assholes. Look at her like going, you gotta have something for this. We just got fucking destroyed by Blossom over here. What do you have? Please. This is like, what do you call it? Like physical cues, social cues. Like when something makes everybody laugh, you look at the person, you're like most comfortable with. Like this person is like, I need answers. She just fucking dumpstered us. I need answers ASAP.
So then why did you transition? Why can't you just present as a man but be a woman?
I transitioned so I could be who I was. I did not feel like I was the person that I identified with when I was born. So I took the steps to align my outside body with how I feel on the inside. What makes you stand up every day and make you identify as a woman? Let me challenge you on that.
I am a woman, and I don't like being...
Answer the question, you idiot! Fuck off!
Called a cis woman because I'm not a cis woman. I'm a woman. I'm not a birthing person. I'm a mother.
So get mad at the terminology, not at trans people.
It's your new terminology.
But this is what.
They're so smug. Like, oh my God. They're like acting like, oh, these poor crazy people. Oh, look at, oh my gosh. Oh.
I notice a lot of cis women do. The terminology has been around for so long. Cis is a prefix. Cis means same. Instead of getting mad at trans...
Is it sad that off the top I can't tell you what cis means? Oh, okay, it's Latin. Oh, I knew that. I knew that already. Yeah, that was silly of me. Yeah.
The non-binary people for using updated terminology. Get mad at Webster. You're not going along with the times and being educated on the different pronouns and the different identities.
You have to admit, some of the pronouns are kind of ridiculous. I mean, to be, with all due respect, I mean, I'm sure you have to agree some of the pronouns
I don't think
use.
they're ridiculous. I think they're very expansive.
Excuse me.
Trans and non-binary people just want you to respect their chosen pronoun. We are not trying to force pronouns on you. Just understand that the terminology is going to continue to grow. If you're willing to educate yourself and understand, then you've got it.
The ability to give birth is a woman's greatest strength.
Is like anybody gonna move forward? Is her name Roxana? Is Roxana about to move forward? Real quick, what do I think about this question? Is the ability to give birth a woman's greatest strength? No. I think that's a stupid question. What is a woman's greatest strength? That's a stupid question. What is a man's greatest strength? That's a dumb question, you know? I don't want to assign, like, genders having separate great strengths. I mean, maybe I would in some ways. Like, I think I don't know anything, okay? Understand that. What I'm about to say comes from a person who doesn't know anything. So please understand, I don't know anything, okay? If I had to answer this question, I would say the women's greatest strength is that, to me, it seems women are able to feel empathy towards other people easier than men can. Now, I don't think that we necessarily, like men, you know, cis men, whatever you want to say, like necessarily can't feel the same amount of empathy that women can. I absolutely think men can. I just think it comes easier for women. On that same note, for men, if I were to give men the same thing, it would be something close to like, I don't know, risk-taking, ambition. Maybe that's something that comes more naturally to men, but women can do it as well. I just think it might come easier to men. I just said all that. I don't know if I fully believe that, because to me, that sounds like some reactionary bullshit coming out of my own mouth. Because I'm going to tell you, like I said earlier, I'm like detransitioning from being a reactionary. Like, currently. Like, looking back a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I can see myself becoming less reactionary, less conservative. I mean, I haven't been a conservative since I was like a teenager. I started my detransition around like 18. So when I became like not religious anymore. And so that's when I started to become more progressive. I'm 28 now, but every year I've become less and less reactionary. So me saying that about men and women, I understand could be probably just another one of my reactionary, like, you know, part of my reactionary shell that has yet to shed off. So if I were to say what's the greatest strength of men and women, I would say it's those things, but they're not exclusive to men or women. And this question is such a dumb question. Anyway, let's hear what they have to say. No one's gonna move. Let's go. Fucking dumbass Jubilee question askers. Even these like dumb, like horrifically reactionary women, like understand what a fucking stupid question this is. Has this person said anything this whole video? Like, holy shit.
Can the disagreeer step forward?
I'm not able to have children. So I'm still strong. I'm funny. I'm physically strong. I'm
stupid.
Smart, and I have a lot of strength.
Hey, the
I believe that
timing.
having a baby is the greatest strength, because not all of us can. I cannot have kids due to medical issues from a medical procedure that I had when I was younger. And it's a hard subject to talk about. It's doesn't mean I'm any less of a woman, but can we get another question? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
One of the things that
like obviously that a horrible person, but she's still a human. You know what I mean? That's really sad to hear.
regret was the fact that I would never be able to do that. But I was honored in the ability to participate it from the other side. Women are amazing. They don't just deal with that, so.
While giving birth is not a woman's greatest strength, I do think that only biological women are capable of going through that process and bringing life into the world.
I need to push back on that because we're also forgetting that trans men and trans masculine people can also give birth as well. And I don't think it's fair to just set it.
She did say biological woman, like, if, you know, obviously she's being non-charitable. She's nothing PragerU lady is going to say is in good faith. We need to get that completely off the table. Yeah, technically speaking, right? Like, only assigned female at birth people can give birth. I don't know about, like, some of the other chromosomic variations, the XYY ones. I don't know. Intersex people. I actually don't know. But, like, painting a very broad swath, the way she said biological female, like, no one's going to argue against that. And so Blossom here is going to bring up good points that are worth bringing up, but unfortunately not really countering what fucking dumbass had to say.
On one group that says that just biological women have that power to just give birth. And we have to be very clear when we look at the nuances of birth.
I recognize that there are people who have different identities. There are biological women who identify as men and then go on to give birth. I would argue, however, that those people are still biological women. And I know that...
Yeah, so, again, like, look at her. She's so smug. I get it.
That is something that can offend many, but that stands as my belief.
So the correct term is actually cisgendered woman. Cis means same. It means that you identify with...
Blossom, like, you're amazing and I love you, but, like, you're on, like, I say this sometimes, like, you're on less than, like, 300 out of, like, 400. So, like, that's, like, less than 300. These transphobes are stuck, like, the transphobes watching this are stuck on, like, less than 100. They're going to hear what Blossom is saying here and immediately reject it, because it's a difficult thing to frame, even for a pro, to do. So
with the birth that you were assigned. And so, you know, I just really, really wish that we would kind of be a little bit more mutable to the terminology, because I think that's what really is going to open up that dialogue and that discussion.
If I may, I think the crux of the conversation kind of comes back to, are trans women women? And I think if we don't agree there, it's going to be very difficult to kind of keep the conversation going or even agree on the points that you guys are talking about, because if we don't believe that trans women are women, then the conversation kind of ends there in terms of whether they're, like, men can give birth or not, if that makes sense.
I'm not sure that's the case. I feel like the ability to give birth is not like the end all be all of a woman's like meaning and life and herself and her personality. And I think that if you can acknowledge that, I would also then maybe challenge the idea that womanhood, as opposed to like a female sex, like womanhood is a consistent thing that has always been one way.
So how would you define womanhood?
You sound like Matt Walsh.
It's a good question.
Womanhood.
Oh, fuck off, dude. These fucking dumbass hogs, dude.
To me, is about standing in integrity. It is about being confident in who you are. And me as a Black trans woman should not be a threat to you. And what I see from a lot of cisgender women is they're trying to deem what womanhood is supposed to look like. I have my own perspective of womanhood. We can coexist in the same world, but the reality is we get so stuck on parts. Having a vagina is not the only thing that makes you a woman. I'm sorry. It takes integrity, it takes courage, it takes lifting other women up. It takes those things.
Not the best arguments here from Blossom, I'm going to say. This is her, like, first L. Like, men have integrity, you know, generally speaking.
To begin to defy womanhood, and there's so many other different things.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, so if I were a white person and I
God,
said
this
blackness
question.
is about integrity and courage and kind of the same thing that you've used to define womanhood, and then I said I want to transition into a Black person and I'm white. And I'm redefining what blackness is to fit what I view it as, right? There's no objective reality of what blackness is. Would you consider that appropriation, or do you think that's something I should be allowed to do?
I consider that dodging, and I consider that comparing
Yes,
apples
thank
to
you,
oranges
Blossom.
because race
Holy
and gender
shit.
identity are two separate different things.
Let's
Because
go.
when we look at
Blossom,
race,
back in the fucking W column.
we have to look at many, many different structures of what whiteness and white supremacy looks like and how white supremacy can be manipulated into other things. And what happens is the closer you are in proximity to whiteness, you're able to weaponize it against other people. It reminds me a lot of Rachel Dolezal, who, you know, masqueraded as a Black woman. It really did open up many more doors of
Masqueraded? She's still doing that.
Conversations around it, but it's still wrong. It's still not fair because she will still ultimately have a privilege that I, as a Black trans woman, would not begin to have.
What's interesting is that we're talking about race and gender, or as we probably like to call it on our side, sex. Race actually has a more
On our side.
understandable structure for people being transracial. Race does actually exist on a spectrum. I'm biracial. Many perceive me to be Black, even though I am also half white and half Black. We label people like President Obama as a Black president, even though he...
Oh, God, this is me jumping into business. I have nothing worth saying, but I have to say it. It's like, of course, the PragerU show host is like, I don't know, I'm Black, but like, I'm also kind of white. It's like, come on, you know I'm right, right? Like, that's what's going on. Like, she's like, no, I'm white too. I'm white too. I'm sorry, PragerU host. When the psychopaths you're supporting take over, they're not gonna, like, you know, think you're white. Let's put it that way. I'm sorry. Like, when the people, when the things you want to happen, the people who you're supporting, if they eventually take over, they're not going to see you as white, okay? They're not going to see me as white, okay? You know what I mean? Like, no, that's silly. They'll see me as white. I'm an immigrant though, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. But no, like, that's just fucking silly.
He is as well. Race has never had binary markers. It does exist on a spectrum. Gender, however, does have binary markers. As much as we try, as much as we change the way that we self-present, chromosomes are not going to change.
Okay.
And that's just a reality.
All right, I'm going to bring up a little point here because you talked about the binary side of gender. Well, I was born a little both. I believe I've never had my chromosomes checked, but since I fathered 2 children, I'm assuming I have the correct male chromosomes. So I was intersexed, and there's a lot of reasons that happens, none of which are well studied or understood, but a friend of mine in the pediatric trauma world said...
Maybe that's why they brought Gina on, because they had the intersex perspective? I don't know.
About 1 in 150 kids come out with some degree of ambiguity in their gender. For me, that appeared as always feeling out of place. And for the first week of my life, I was in the surgical wards at Naval Hospital in San Diego getting pieces of me cut off. So, and then they gave me testosterone for the first 11 years of my life. I wish the world were truly sexually binary. It would make it so much easier. But there is a little bit of a smear. And, as a trans person, I'm a very conservative trans person.
Fucking called it, dude. This is Caitlyn Jenner. I don't know. It feels to me like Jubilee's putting the thumb on the scale a little bit. Like, yeah, like I called it in the first 5 minutes of this video. This person is a reactionary. This person is a conservative. Like, I fucking knew it.
I don't see the huge gender spectrum that a lot of people in the...
Stop, dude! Oh my god! Are you kidding me? That is the this person is the quintessential conservative, okay? Like, I believe transgender people exist because I'm transgender. I don't believe any of that other stuff exists because I'm not that. That is the most conservative thing I've ever heard. God, fucking conservatives make me want to unexist, okay? Like, it's insane.
And the trans community do. Do I feel better having transitioned?
Fuck
yes,
you,
absolutely.
dude. Fuck you.
Used to live in a little shell, very large shell, but but
God.
Now I'm much more open about who I am. Is that the only thing that generally defines a woman? No, I don't think that is the only thing that generally defines a woman.
Right. I think there are a lot of women who may be on our side of the argument who will try to maybe invalidate your experiences by saying you can't give birth or you can't have a period. And while those things may be true, I'm sure there's a lot of other different struggles that you all are going through. And yeah.
More of that, like, I'll throw you a little bit of charitability, but then I'm going to say horrible shit. Like, it's strategic. This person is a pro.
I would truly believe that you probably are highly discriminated against in our society, and it is hard to...
God, I'm too lazy, but I want to pull up, like, a clip of her show, and just for 30 seconds, you will find her saying, we need to discriminate against trans people. Trans discrimination is a good thing, is what she's going to say.
To be you. It is hard to go through the things that you go through and have to deal with some of the responses that you get from people. And, it's not a struggle that I would wish on myself at all.
Not a struggle I wish on my worst enemy.
Trans women should be allowed to compete in women's sports.
Wait, why? Oh, yeah, so they...
I do think that trans women have every right to compete in women's sports. When trans...
Damn, Blossom, all alone. Here, I need more water. Let's put this on. I'm gonna go use the restroom.
Let's get started on this. This is a good point to start.
And I will get some water.
Relationship that was acceptable to you? No interracial relationship is acceptable because we have too many black women who are unmarried. Black women are the largest population on the planet Earth. If you can't find one in America, get it from Africa. If you can't get it from Africa, go to the Caribbean, go to Canada, go to Europe. Why would a black man need to copulate, build a family with anything other than a black woman when you have so many black women available? It is an exercise in self-hatred. There's no
Bro, he did not stutter. God damn, he just popped off on that.
way to get around it.
Do you think Kanye West, if he had a black woman, things would be different?
Oh, absolutely. I think Kim Kardashian used him. And the fact that they're making that man pay $200,000 a month in child support.
That's a crazy take, bro. The irony, of course, is that a black woman is using Kanye West, has played a more formative role in his demise. I know it's fun to say, oh yeah, Kim Kardashian sucks. Like, I agree. But like, Candace Owens is the real reason why Kanye West like is getting canceled. He's getting canceled because he's like right-wing as fuck and then became a Nazi. But who made him right-wing? Who took advantage of his vulnerabilities? Candace did. Candace doesn't love him or care about him. Umar is referring to the difference in white love and black love. I know what Dr. Umar is doing. He's just using this as an opportunity. Fifi. Fifito. Hello. Hello. I know what Dr. Umar is doing. He's just using, say, Dr. Umar shit. He sings a wildly different tune when he's getting caught at the Panda Express in the local New Jersey mall. Do as I say, not as I do, huh, Dr. Umar? We know.
When both he and the wife are billionaires are absolutely ridiculous. I think they want to break him. And although I don't agree with the way in which Kanye articulated some of his thoughts, I appreciate the fact that he was the first black man since Michael Jackson to speak truth to power, to specifically identify certain communities of Europeans who have exploited gangster rap, black entertainers, and other people since its inception, and nobody has called.
But like, come on, bro. I mean, of course he's like running the lineup too, but it's like, it's not certain communities of Europeans. Like, first of all, okay, it's just like, it's so silly. It's not even just all Caucasians. Like, it's just rich people, okay? Of course, the origins or the inception of that still does come from mostly white people, white rich capitalists.
Them out. He's the first.
Yeah, when he drops the certain communities in there, he's just trying to say Jewish without saying Jewish, like, which is, you know, not that surprising that Dr. Umar is saying that. Let's be real, but like,
to do it since Michael Jackson. But when Michael did it, he wasn't in his prime. Kanye did it in his prime.
I can't give Kanye no respect because I've never seen a black man seek more white validation than Kanye West.
Well, that's the issue.
That is one of the most self-hating black men on the planet.
Kanye is not choosing a side. One day, it's about saving our people. The next day, you on a date with another snow bunny. One day, it's about helping the oppressed.
That's
the
right.
next day, you're campaigning.
As women are on hormones, the hormones break their body down. Having gender-affirming surgery breaks down the body. And so I think we really need to be educated before we jump to a conclusion that trans women are stronger than cis women in sports. Hi, everybody.
I find it interesting that you assume the people who disagree with you are uneducated, and I will speak out against that. I think the research shows that trans women do happen to have a biological advantage against biological women. Even though you are taking hormones, and that does start to change your body and level things out, we're talking about primarily people who have transitioned post-puberty, which means they do have male bone density, male wingspan, male hand size, feet size, lung capacity. All of these things are going against women, biological women, when trans women start to enter their spaces, their sports, and compete against them. And this is really concerning for me.
I think for me, it's not a question of whether or not trans women can compete in sports. It's a question of how can we change the institution of sports in this country to make it equitable and to create more opportunity for cis women, for trans women. And like, that's kind of like why I wanted to actually ask you all, like, what has your relationship to sports been?
I don't think you have to have a direct relationship to sports to realize that women are being affected by this issue, and I do reject the idea of equity. There is no way to come about an equality of outcome, which is what equity is saying. There's a reason that women's sports are less funded and less watched than men's sports. It's because men seem to excel athletically, and they seem to press the bounds of athleticism way farther than women do. We now exist on a slippery slope. If it's female sports, is it then female locker rooms? Is it then female prisons, which we're now seeing becoming an issue here in California, where biological male inmates are being put in female facilities because they identify as women?
Bro, this fucking piece of shit transphobe can't even say just trans women. She has to say biological men. What a fucking garbage, dog shit, worse than dirt human being this person is.
Women. We have to discuss as a society how much we give into the feelings of wanting everybody to be accepted and how much we are willing to do that at the expense of biological women.
I use myself as an example. This is about how big I was in junior high school and early high school. I used to be able to walk up to a V8 engine block, pick it up off the floor and set it on a table. And if I was in powerlifting or weightlifting, that amount of, that advantage was just unbelievable. I've been on hormones for 15 years. Did it weaken me? Absolutely. Did my bone density really hasn't changed, my muscular hasn't changed. And this is not a binary question. There's a lot of nuances involved.
I just want to ask a question. For what you were saying, can you throw out some...
Real quick, officer who has been on the force for over 15 years has a mental breakdown over waiting for McDonald's.
I'm on my way home from work. When I pull up to the window, they hand me my receipt, so I go to the second window to get my food. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And so the girl comes to the window and asks me what my order was. I repeat my order and my coffee order, and they asked me to pull up because my food's not ready. It's an English muffin meal with a hash brown and coffee. And I hadn't eaten since I've been up for a very long time, but I haven't eaten in a while, so I was kind of hungry. And I'm still waiting, and I'm still waiting, and they asked me to pull up.
It's like, dude, have you ever been to a McDonald's? Like, some of them suck. Like, you're a cop, you're driving around, you went to a random McDonald's. A lot of them suck. There's very disparate McDonald's, okay? And I'm saying this as someone who eats at McDonald's quite a bit. Some are really good and are like 5-star restaurants. Others are like fucking gas stations and are terrible, okay?
So I pull up forward, and a girl comes out with my coffee, and just the coffee. And she hands it to me, and I have my window down.
Bro, why are you crying?
And that's all she hands me is the coffee. So I told her, I said, don't bother with the food because right now I'm too nervous to take it.
What? Okay, first and foremost, I don't want to disparage what this human being is feeling, okay? I need to get that out of the way. Like, her feelings are real. I could tell. But, like, what, societal, failure led to this person getting to a position where they're going to feel this way about a McDonald's order taking too long? She said she's too nervous. So I'm wondering, before I even finish the video, I'm going to ask, does she think there's some, anti-cop sentiment going on at this McDonald's? Is that what she feels? Let's see.
It doesn't matter how many hours I've been up. It doesn't matter what I've done for anyone. Right now, I'm too nervous to take a meal from McDonald's because I can't see it being made. I don't know what's going on with people nowadays, but please, just give us a break. Please just give us a break.
What?
I don't know how much more I can take. I've been in this for 15 years and I've never, ever had such anxiety about waiting for McDonald's drive-through food. So just have a heart, and if you see an officer, just tell them thank you. Because I don't hear thank you enough anymore. All I want is just my next couple days off to just be so chill. No uniform, no nothing.
That was sad. Not like, I mean, she's a cop, which, like, fuck you. Oh my god, I don't even know where to begin. The idea that cops are, like, in any way, shape, or form oppressed is bullshit, okay? You can choose to not be a cop. You cannot be marginalized as a cop, okay? You can't choose to be trans. You can't choose to be gay. You can't choose to be a woman. Women face tons of marginalization. What you can choose to not be is a cop, okay? This is complete nonsense. This only gets better every time I see it. She's not saying it she's not saying, but she definitely thought McDonald's was poisoned. What the fuck? This same officer just overdosed from thinking about fentanyl. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Cops think they're so... Like, if cops were as marginalized as people think they are, they would just stop being cops. Like, why would they pick that job? Like, oh my lord. This isn't someone who should have access to a private firearm, let alone given one to exercise authority in her assigned community on behalf of the state. Agreed. Like, again, remember the human, whatever you want to say. But this is a clear sign of someone who should not be in the position they're in my opinion. I feel so sorry for this frontline worker. You may all laugh at her, but she really needs a break. Maybe there's a part of that, like, maybe she is being overworked. I don't know. Probably not. A breakdown is no joke. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not really laughing at her. I'm more laughing at, like, the fucking cultural, like, scenario that led to a cop thinking McDonald's is going to poison them because they didn't bring her food out fast enough. That, like, again, the idea that cops are in any fucking way marginalized, let alone being poisoned by people, is a complete failure of our, like, society. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Statistics.
I don't think you need to have so there's an abundance of research. There's even trans activists who agree with exactly what I'm saying. And your hormones can change, right? And even she just spoke to the fact that her bone density did not change in going on hormones and changing these things. And
Yo! Did she just not misgender them? Let's go.
Can see it in
I'll take
sports,
any win
as
from
we're
this
watching
piece
them.
of shit.
Thomas's
This is it's strategic. Like, if she misgendered, that automatically puts everyone, like if you misgender them, you're not going to listen to anything she has to say. She peppers in the somewhat a little bit reasonable aspects of her belief. And that, like, you know, by not misgendering, other things she said, to help, like, normalize the really fucked up shit she's saying, like citing that study from previously. This is a pro at work, and it is fucking genuinely gross that Jubilee will do this.
It's a great example.
So if you can't throw out the statistics, we're not doing enough of the work. And let's
I
also be clear, there are some cisgender women who produce high levels of testosterone as well. And so we really have to unpack it from all different sides here.
Can you produce statistics about the bone density of biological men and how it changes upon being on hormones and whether or not it levels out to biological women?
I actually cannot, because when I would think of those statistics, I would think it was BS, to be quite honest with you, because the reality of it is we could talk about statistics and the research all day long, but it's about experience. We're gonna be looking more at the experience because again, when we look at cisgender women who produce high levels of testosterone and who have been kicked out of sports, and been disqualified from teams based on something that they biologically cannot control, then what are we really talking about here?
Well, we're talking about, I mean, data and that is overwhelming, and we're talking about what is also we're capable of seeing with our human eyes. I think it's very clear that if you compare maybe you to the rest of us, there is going to be a strength difference. There's going to be a bone density difference.
But you're just saying that you don't know until we physically do something, and just perceiving and assuming just because I look a certain way, that's not fair. Me and her we could look completely different or whatever, but she may be stronger than me.
I agree, but
she have much more agility and vitality than I do. We don't know that until you actually do it.
I'm
until
saying
you actually
it has been
experience it.
studied, it's been done. And it's so.
L take, biggest L take. I don't think the kid tracking Elon Musk flights should be banned, especially if he's using public information, but I hate it. Why are we tracking his movements? What minuscule value are you going to get out of that? Eventually stuff like this is going to get someone hurt. Like, that's just, come on, Jank. You fucking boomer. Like, what are you fucking doing, dude?
Done. We've seen it
But it's an
numerous
assumption.
time again.
But we're only going on assumption at this point. Because again,
it's not assumption when we see it. Maybe it's the news cycle that I watch, but I see it a lot. I see it quite often where they're showing trans women beating. I mean, by far.
And you don't see women dominating.
Thank you for the follow, Nexus
sports,
Decay.
right? You don't see trans men.
I caught you, if you're watching this or if you just hit the follow, I caught you in the Hassan Discord because I posted my stream in there too. So thanks for the follow. If you're planning on streaming, hope we can grow together, my guy.
And going into men's sport and just completely dominating and wiping the field with them.
I'm wearing Hassan merch. I did not plan this.
In my opinion, twist
This is
God's
what I was wearing
design.
today.
And when you go against God's design,
just bringing up God again.
You create these problems that you wouldn't have if you
again, like this is like she has no more arguments, so I have to bring up God. This is like all I have left.
Going against what God intended.
I'm going to take her side a little bit on that.
Yo, you're in the chat. What's going on, Nexus DK? Sorry I didn't see your message till just now if you're still in here. Yeah, first time streaming audio did not go well. Yeah, I'm kind of grappling with that too. What's your setup? What do you got? Yeah, it's hard for me to see, like, hear this and then, oh, mine sounds good. That's good. Can't I hear myself with OBS now that I'm thinking about it? Hear myself live? I don't remember how. I streamed back in the day, so this is not like my first stream ever. I'm actually a former partnered streamer. I still have the account. I wanted to start fresh. But, let me know if you have any questions on audio or whatever. I can help a little bit. I'm not like a super big tech guy. So first time streaming ever. It's tough. A little bit tough. I was just using the webcam mic and the Twitch studio. Okay. What about it did not go well for you? Harder than you think it is? No, I believe it, dude. I absolutely, like, the technical side is not easy to get right for sure. And like I said, like, I am a former partnered streamer, and even then, like, I can absolutely empathize with the difficulties. Like, no question about it. I will say, like, I'm sure feedback loop in the audio. So just like something like that. Is it just because were you using headphones, or were you just listening to it on your speaker? Because if it's going from your webcam to your speaker back and forth, yeah, it's going to create a feedback loop. So you're going to need headphones for sure. And again, like what I was going to say was like, I'm sure you've thought about this. I'm sure maybe someone else told you, but like try and get some kind of external USB mic. Like if you can. Like, let me see, USB mic. Yeah, some of these are expensive. Like, there's some cheaper ones somewhere. This is what I have right here. This one. So this one's blue, mine's black, but it's the same model. I've used this for 10 years now. I'll live and die by Blue Yeti, but this is pretty expensive. Don't trust this limited time deal. I think they're like upcharging it and then putting it down. This is about the price you can get it year round. So I would recommend it if you can get it. Christmas present, I don't know. The Blue Yeti Nano I've heard is also good. And it's much, and it's $20 cheaper, or yeah, $20 cheaper. But here's a $30 one that is probably okay. It's got good reviews. Here you go, $17, but you're getting at this point, like, this probably won't be that much better than your webcam mic. That makes sense. Yeah, it was listened to out loud without headphones. Yeah, that'll do it. Hope I solved your problem. That'll do it. You'll need headphones, or there will be that feedback loop. So give it a shot with headphones and see how that goes. But I would like, the first thing you should invest in is some kind of USB mic. Something like, here you go, $26. I'm sure this one would be ample. How do other people do it without headphones? So you might be thinking of, I don't know, like Hassan is another like lefty who does it without headphones. So the way they do it, and again, I'm not like super in the know about tech and stuff. Like, honestly, I'm just not. But they have what's called a noise gate. So noise gate. They have an external piece of hardware that I think are pretty fucking... Well, that's not too expensive, I guess. I thought that'd be much more expensive. So maybe something like this would work. Effect pedal. Like, I don't know. I don't know anything about noise gates. Like, I don't know if this is for like music or what. But they have something called a noise gate. I thought that was built in on the mic. On Hassan's mic, it might be. See, this is where like I'm starting to like break down in my knowledge. Maybe Hassan has a mic with a built-in noise gate. I actually don't know. So maybe this noise gate here would work with my Blue Yeti. He might have a box too. Yeah, exactly. Noise gate mic. So I think this search would bring up if there was like an actual microphone. Oh no, well, there you go. So maybe some of these more expensive mics, in the $300, $400 range do have noise gates. Maybe this one would. It's a little bit less expensive. But that's how they do it. So they've got a noise gate to where like basically it creates like a field around like here to where only audio from like here gets picked up. And if I talk over here, it won't get picked up, essentially. So his speakers on his computer are way over here. His mic is here. The audio is too far away. That's why you watch Hassan. He talks like this close to his mic. Yeah, that's a little too much for me. I've always just used the headphones. So unless you get a noise gate set up to fix your feedback loop issue, I would just use headphones. With that said, my other recommendation to like a brand new like fledgling streamer would be to snag a cheap USB mic. So see what's in your budget, maybe get a Christmas present, maybe something like, Blue Snowball. This is a popular one. This one I can attest to. Yeah, look at this. 4.6 rating out of 33,000 reviews, $40. So maybe consider, next time you're going to buy a new game, check out the Blue Snowball. I stream off a PC. So when I first started streaming in 2017, or like summer 2017, I bought a gaming PC. So this is my rig from then. So this is a PC. 5.5-year-old hardware. maybe you know a lot about PC specs, but I have an i7 7700K and a 1070, 16 gigs of RAM. The other thing I will say to another fledgling streamer, I don't know where you live, if you're in the US, if you're in Europe, but at least in the US, most internet providers don't give you unlimited internet data. And so streaming is going to cost extra. They're going to, like, usually, like, I know, like, Comcast gets you a terabyte. If you go beyond that, they're going to charge you more. Comcast offers unlimited data for $50 extra a month. So keep that in mind as you're streaming. I don't know if you pay for your own internet. I don't know how old you are. Your parents might get emails soon, or you or your parents or whoever pays for your internet. If you keep streaming, you're going to get emails saying, hey, your data is about to go up. We're going to charge you an extra $10 per 100 gigabytes or whatever it is. So if you're planning on streaming a lot, I would recommend looking into getting unlimited internet data from your internet service provider. So those are my big recommendations to a brand new fledgling streamer. I saw I was your first follow. So proud of that. I hope you get big. Don't forget me. But those are my few pieces of advice. Anyway, let me know if you have any other questions or concerns. Otherwise, good luck. Anyway, I was watching this absolutely crazy video with these absolutely crazy people. This video sucks. So, you're still here? Yeah, I mean, you don't got to stick around just because, I gave you advice or whatever. Like, it's fine, dude. Like, feel free to take off. Feel free to try streaming again with the knowledge that you just need to plug in headphones and you won't get that feedback loop. One more. What webcam do you use? Let me see if I can pull up the exact one. Logitech 1080p webcam. This is another one I've had for a very long time now. I think it's this one. This looks exactly like it, but I don't know if it's the exact one. The only difference is instead of Logi there on the right, mine says Logitech, but everything else is identical. So maybe it's just a newer model of my exact thing. Let me see if I can pull up the exact thing. Webcam. Yeah, so C9... Okay, so this is the C920X. I have the C920. So the exact same thing minus the X. So this is the one I have. The exact one I have right here. Purchased in June of 2017. That's when I first started streaming on my old account. And it's good. If this stream goes anywhere else, I plan on upgrading because I think it's a little bit not the best looking in 2022. This probably just HD webcam. Better ones. They could. This is still listed as like kind of the top one. I do have a DSLR too, so I was thinking of maybe using that. But it's reliable, and I would recommend it if you're looking to, pay close to this. This is a good deal for a good webcam. And it's cheaper than the one I got. So look like a pro. Look at these old ass like 2017, 2016 like stock photos. Anyways, yeah, man. I actually work in marketing, so I deal with stock photos all the time. Oh, this is the same guy! 2022, same guy. They did not even change the stock photo. Fucking lazy. Yeah, so, oh, hey, look at that. Boom. This is actually a bad deal, I think. Blue Yeti. 89, so $90 plus 60. So this is actually the same, the like MSRP price. Yeah. So you could get this, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Hell yeah. You could get this bundle. I don't know. I mean, this is not a small number. I understand that. But this is my exact setup in a bundle. So, yeah. I would still recommend going, you know, if budget's a little bit tight, you don't need to get this Blue Yeti. The Blue Yeti Nano or the Blue Snowball. That's the way I would go, because Blue is a good trusted brand. If you're really on a budget, the Blue Snowball. If you're willing to go a little bit more, I think the Blue Yeti Nano will be just fine. I don't know if the Blue Yeti Nano can attach to something like this that I'm doing. Oh no, it does. Okay, so anyway, that's what I would recommend. But real quick, I want to tell you, because you seem, you said you watched Hassan, so you're in the know, dude. They stacked the fucking deck for the transphobes in this video. You've got like crazy transgender lady number 1, crazy transgender lady number 2. Dude, this lady is a host of a PragerU show. Like, you know, Dennis Prager's like crazy psychotic PragerU. She's a host of a PragerU program. Meanwhile, you've got Blossom, who is fucking amazing. You've got another transgender woman. You got this third transgender woman who's also a conservative. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they stacked the deck for the transphobes. Like, none of these are like progressive political commentators. That's an odd mix. Yeah. Like, they should have gotten at least like one like leftist or progressive commentator. But they got like 3 normies. One of them is a pro. They got like 3 normies. One of them is a conservative. And then like a professional conservative political commentator. It's sad. And this video is just like brutal. Like, it's taking a lot of my energy not to just like, you know. Ugh, I don't even want to say anything. One was going, oh, you watched this video? Yeah, dude, you missed it. Oh my God. Like, Blossom said like some like super fire shit, right? Completely catches her off guard. So she like stutters. She's like, as a Christian, it was like her only like argument left. Like I said this earlier in my watching this video, like you dig. The deeper you get into transphobic arguments, because you can argue them all away. You know, if you're in the know enough, you can argue them all away. The rock bottom is boom, Jesus. My imaginary friend, sorry if you're Christian, my imaginary friend says you can't be trans, and that's why I'm transphobic. Like, there's no other argument that exists. And it's just, it is a really funny moment in this video when she like goes in on Jesus, because like Blossom, I think it was Blossom, catches her completely off guard. Are they all trans? No. You can see the yellow line here. These 3 are trans. These 3 are cisgender. But again, one of these women are also conservative. Like, the title is Trans versus Conservative Women, but 4 of the women here are conservative. Like, this person is like a Caitlyn Jenner style conservative. Like, I caught it early on in the video. I was like, this person is a conservative because of the like reactionary stuff she was saying, which is so frustrating. And she said something earlier about like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, this video, it's a little frustrating that Jubilee will like do shit like this, like really stack the deck for transphobia. Like, I don't want to say Jubilee is promoting transphobia, but it feels that way. Once you argue down to, well, religion, it should be a moot argument because not everyone's going to need religion. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. You're spitting. Like I said, that moment where it happens is like so fucking funny. Can I find it? Can I find it for you? As a Christian, here we go, 12:50. Let's watch like these 10 seconds leading up to it.
I believe that you feel like women. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there is an objective truth, and I don't believe in his truth, her truth, their truth, my truth. Like, there is truth, and
Who defined that truth?
and
Oh, it's
like
her.
it's already defined. And I, as a Christian, I believe God.
Like, she had nothing to say. Who defines that truth? It's already defined. It's already defined. As a Christian, boom. I had no argument. She had nothing to say. No way to argue her point, period. No ability to argue her point. So she has to go to the final step. I'm a Christian. Boom. It's not a good argument, like you said. It's funny that like the conservative one is the one who actually caught her off guard. Oh God, I lost my spot. Should trans women be allowed to compete in women's sports? Somewhere over here. Anyways, thanks again for coming by, man. I hope your next stream goes well. Hope any of the advice I gave you was helpful. Again, I was a partner streamer back in the day, so like I know it a little bit, you know what I mean? Like Twitch has changed a lot in the last 5 years. But if you ever need anything, man, please feel free to ask me or DM me. Anything you need. Except money, because I don't have any money. I wish I did. But yeah, you seem chill, dude. I'll definitely check you out if I have time. That's the other thing, like I don't have any time. Like my life does not let me watch anything. Like sometimes I watch Hassan, but yeah. Anyways, thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate it.
And how it changes upon being on hormones and whether or not it levels out to biological women.
I actually cannot, because when I would think of those statistics, I would think it was BS, to be quite honest with you, because the reality of it is we could talk about statistics and the research all day long, but it's about experience.
A little bit on that. Let me say one more thing, and I'm supporting you on this one. There's a great deal of women that, and actually there was a lady in the last Olympics that they actually disqualified until she went on androgen blockers to knock her testosterone down to a female level. Like I said, this is not a binary yes or no question. And the whole idea of messing with what, God puts up.
Stop, dude! No! Dina! No! She's also a Jesus freak! Of course. Oh my God. It's so sad, dude. It's so sad. Like, I'm laughing, but like, I'm laughing at like the world. I'm laughing at society, not Dina. Like, this sucks. This isn't funny. It's really sad. It's heartbreakingly sad that this type of shit exists.
God put me up, okay, if you want to take that. And I had this conversation with a very religious man in San Diego, and he was like, oh, I don't quite know how to deal with that.
And God made you that way, but he didn't make a lot of the people transitioning.
I understand.
No, but God also
or
understands my transition. God, first of all, knew what I was going to be in my life. God already knew I was going to be trans when God put me here. So I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair when people dip and dab. Your relationship with God is personal.
Yes.
It's sacred.
Let's
and
keep
I
it
don't
there.
think it's fair when other people dip and dab in other people's relationship with God when they don't understand what they go through. God.
See, again, like Blossom, like obviously is taking like this whole God thing, but like putting it in a way that like is actually, reasonable.
Still blesses me as a trans woman. God blesses you as a cisgendered woman. God is embodied in me as a trans person. I don't think it's fair, again, when we judge.
Does the Bible say anything about transgender people? Does the Bible say anything about trans people? What does the Bible say about transgender people? Human Rights Campaign. No, I don't want your fucking cookies, dude. Leave me alone. Oh my God, whatever. The language we use. Wrestling with Scripture. Creation of gender binary. I just want a yes or no. Does the Bible say anything about transgender people? Where in the Bible does it say you can't be transgender? Nowhere. I'd love to read this article, but like I said, I don't have any money, so I don't have any way to pay for it. They'll never meet her halfway, even if she's conservative trans. They just use people as a token. Yeah, man. Absolutely. What does the Bible say about transgenderism? The good book. Oh, well, this person might be biased. We have bodies, we're gendered. God made 2 genders. A point Jesus agreed with. Okay, so this tells me the Bible says nothing about being transgender. Which should tell you more about, like, the Bible. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that they just didn't think about it shows that, like, yeah, a bunch of humans wrote the Bible thousands of years ago. Archive.ph, I think, if it's worth the effort to get past the paywall. What is archive.ph? Is this just kind of like archive.org? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't want to dwell on this too longer. If this clearly biased, like, Bible website can't point to a reasonable place in the Bible where it says you can't be transgender, it's clear that the Bible doesn't mention it. So all these people bringing up the Christian argument again it's more nonsense than even like the gay argument, because the Bible does explicitly say not to be gay. You know what I mean?
Judge people's personal relationship with God. Gender identity, sexual orientation, none of that matters to a God that loves all.
Gender.
I mean, to counter Blossom, the Bible does say not to be gay. Like, that is an issue with the Bible. It's more proof that the Bible is bullshit, that Christianity is not real. If your God says you can't be gay, then obviously that's not a fucking real God. Like, that's stupid.
Gender dysphoria is real.
I think it is obviously real because many people experience it, but like any kind of dysphoria, whether it's someone who thinks they're overweight or anything, I think it should be treated as not reality. Like, if I thought I was obese, I wouldn't want to go to a affirming therapist to tell me, yes, you are obese and you should, get skinnier.
Dude.
Well, I had the opportunity of working on the DSM-4, I think it was, when we actually...
DSM-4 is what she said? The handbook used by Hollywood professionals.
Actually declassified transgender dysphoria from a mental illness to a condition.
Dina was on that forum that declassified transgenderism as a mental illness? Let's go.
I had been, at that point in time, I'd been cross-dressing for 50 years. And, because that dysphoria was there.
Oh, I keep saying Dina,
every
Gina.
single thing I did to try to drive it away didn't work. I spent millions of dollars trying to be the coolest dude in the world.
Huh? Wait, what? Gina? You got millions of dollars? Wait a minute.
I bought airplanes, I bought everything that I could to just show the world how masculine I was. It didn't work.
Who is this person?
It didn't go away.
What the fuck?
And I did therapy. I purposely went to a therapist that was anti-gender affirming. And literally he said, you need to do this. And because it was so deep-seated. Spent 6 weeks as Gina with my son. And at the end of that period of time, he asked 2 very fundamental questions. The most important one was, it's got to be truly exhausting for you to lead 2 lives. And I was kind of like, that kind of shook me to the core that my 22-year-old son saw that better than I did. So shortly thereafter, I announced to my family that I was going to transition. My wife and I separated because of it. The kids were not necessarily shocked, but understood and have supported me quite well. And my wife
is she wearing like like trans drip? Like, this is like trans flag colors, right? Like, I'm not crazy.
Good, very warm, supporting person for me.
Gender dysphoria almost made me kill myself. And coming from Mississippi, at the time, there wasn't a lot of access to gender-affirming resources, like hormones, if I wanted surgery, whatever the case may be. And a lot of us trans folks who don't have access like that, a lot of us have to do sex work to be able to afford some of these things as well. Me coming up at the age of 20, and I knew I had a serious gender dysphoria, I did things to my body that should have went to a hospital to do. That is something that's very, very hard for people to understand. A lot of us commit suicide because of gender dysphoria, and so it hits our community a lot harder.
I do think gender dysphoria is very much real. I think the issue that's happened, especially...
This is the Praise You chick. Conservative. That's so disingenuous. This is not just a random conservative woman. This is like a pro. Someone with talking points. Someone who spends their life being transphobic.
In the space of science and research, is that we've looked at gender dysphoria and said the only source of care that we can go through is blind gender affirmation care. And a lot of the...
Oh my god, dude. Yo, UW! Washington, represent! That's actually my rival school. I went to Washington State University, and they're rivaled with UW. But no, UW is a great school. It's one of the best schools in the country, actually. Receipt of gender-affirming... So, like, recipients of gender-affirming interventions, specifically PBs or GAHs, I don't know these acronyms, was associated with 60% lower odds of moderate to severe depression symptoms, 70% lower odds of self-harm or suicidal thoughts during the first year of multidisciplinary gender care. That's a crazy statistic. Why are they bringing this up? Hold on, I want to hear what she had to say again.
In the space of science and research, is that we've looked at gender dysphoria and said the only source of care that we can go through is blind gender affirmation care.
No, that's the dumbest thing this person has said today. We have tried saying, no, you can't be trans. You're not 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 trans. That has what we've been doing this entire time. And trans people, as a result, have been committing self-harm, suicide. We've tried what she's saying, and it doesn't work. That's why we have the now more modern methods of gender-affirming care. And that's why we have these incredible numbers of harm reduction. 73% lower odds of self-harm or suicidal thoughts. That's insane. Like, I hate that they're showing this in the edit, you know what I mean? Like, they should be handing out cards with this information to these people in the video. I know that's, like, impossible because, you know, it's a video. But that's crazy the way she's like, we gotta try telling them they're actually not trans. It's like, motherfucker, we have done that. That's all we've done for the longest time.
And a lot of the research shows that this is not the route to go into. And other countries that have decided to...
What research, dude? What research? Show me some... They keep saying this. She keeps saying, like, over and over again, trying to normalize these, like, transphobic opinions without ever providing any smidgen of evidence to back it up, except for one. She did provide one piece of evidence that was, like, one study done by, like, the most transgender person, like, the one, like, highly transgender person in academia today. I checked that person's Twitter. They published that study in 2018. It's 2022. That person is still posting anti-trans sentiment on Twitter. Yeah, that's the research she had to cite, is what I mean. Like, they don't have any real citations to back up their transphobic notions.
To do nonpartisan research, Sweden, Finland have decided that, yes, gender affirmation care should be an option.
Okay, let's see. For adolescents with gender incongruence, the NBHW deems that the risks of puberty-suppressing treatment with GnRH analogs and gender-affirming hormone treatment currently outweigh the possible benefits, and that the treatment should always be in exceptional cases. Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about the research of puberty suppressants. As far as I know, it's pretty safe. So I don't know what the NBHW is referencing here. But again, she's taking this and spinning it in like the least charitable way possible.
But it really should be the last resort when it comes to treating people who appear at clinics with gender dysphoria. You know, a lot of conservatives will deny and say, well, gender affirmation care does not make them happier. And in many cases, that is true. But there are the cases like yourselves where the gender affirmation care does make them happier.
You know, I know a lot of people that have transitioned, have untransitioned. I've talked with a gentleman at a religious right convention one day.
No, you haven't. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I hate to disparage your experience, but like, the statistics of detransitioning shows that this is bullshit. You have not met a lot of people who detransitioned. That's a fucking lie. Conservatives love to... It's the Joe Rogan I know a buddy shit. You know what I mean? Conservatives just love to fucking lie.
And he was sitting there screaming how Jesus got him out of his gender transition. And honestly, that was the saddest man I've ever talked to in my life.
I think it's 2% detransition. Exactly, dude. Like, come on.
When I looked at him straight in the eyes and I
And how much of that is influenced by just like, you know, their socioeconomic conditions, like the people they're around telling them they're not trans, like your parents punching you in the face, telling you you're not fucking trans. Like how many of those detransitioners have that experience? I don't know. I am kind of talking out of my ass here, but I would assume it's a lot.
You know, here, I don't agree with what you say, but I 100% support your right to say that. And he just literally broke down crying on the steps of the Supreme Court.
If I could interject really quickly, I do.
No, absolutely not.
I feel as though the medical profession is actually inching towards a space that is going to become unsafe for people who try to express their gender dysphoria, because now we have young children coming into clinics expressing this, who by and large, statistically, about 60 to 70% grow out of that dysphoria. But because it's become a...
Wait, what? Hold on. Where's the Jubilee pop-up here? Or cite some kind of study. 60% of like trans teenagers like eventually say I'm actually not trans. Like all the numbers I've heard are closer to what you cited in the chat here, closer to that 2% number. She just said 60% of trans teenagers like detransition.
A political issue where many activists have come in and say, no, you blindly affirm, you affirm to the furthest extent that you can, rather than going through a more comprehensive process with these children.
Again, she's going with the like, she's like obfuscating her point, which is we need to actually tell these children they're not transgender, which again, like I just said, that's all we've done up until the last like 10 years. And now all the evidence shows that since we've stopped doing that, it's been a massive like harm reduction project that's worked.
We have a what I think is a medical tragedy happening against young people in this country.
I have been sexually harassed.
Oh God, this is sad. Oh fuck, dude. Oh my God, what a fucking depressing like part of the video for all these women, even the ones I fucking hate. Like this is just sad. Yeah, of course, dude, every woman on Earth, if you put every woman on Earth in this room, they would all find a chair. You know what I mean? Like, the language I've been sexually harassed obviously is different from, like, I've been sexually assaulted. I mean, that's still, like, what is it, like 2/3 of women, 3/5 of women would sit down. But sexually harassed, like, that's everything. Every day a woman gets sexually harassed. Like a woman can't walk outside without this happening at least once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think.
But it's still
society,
sad. I mean, it's still depressing.
It's so sexualized, everyone and everything, and I think we owe a lot of that to pornography and just media.
You think women weren't sexually harassed before pornography? Like, what a dumb fucking L take. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the advent of porn all of a sudden caused women to be more sexually harassed.
Yeah, and I think the kind of acceptance that I do see more so in the LGBT community of like, you know, sex is great and let like everyone talk about it and there's no shame and everyone's just blurting out, you know, the fact that we're perpetuating a culture that's frankly, in my opinion, disgusting.
So are you talking
sex is disgusting?
I'm talking more so just about this sexual revolution, that the more sexual you are, the more partners you have, the more open you are about your sex life and everything, the more like liberated you are. And what is consent?
Oh, God.
People are coming out of the woodwork saying, you know, I was violated, this happened to me, but they like drove home with that person. And I'm not blaming them, but I am saying
you're all sluts, damn puritanical. Exactly,
those
dude.
lines are being blurred because of our just flagrant disregard for any kind of like actual relationship prior to the sexual encounter. And I think a lot of people are being exploited left and right.
true sex positivity has been powerful. It has helped us to
go.
grow and learn about our bodies in so many ways and learn safe sex practices in so many ways. What I would blame for rape culture or for a lack of good boundaries or that kind of thing is we live in a capitalist system that has taken things like sex positivity and mangled it and repackaged it and made it a whole other thing than what it actually is.
I was sexually harassed for 5 years by a woman. That does happen because I'm pretty sure it's going to be we're men this, men that. It's hard coming from a man, but to me it was harder coming from a woman because it wasn't expected. Like I understand, you're going to probably touch on that about how men are more on the predatory side or the more harassing side sometimes. But I just want to let you know that it does happen with women as well.
All through my life, world's biggest kid in junior high school, I basically was harassed continuously for being gender non-conforming. Back then, everybody in junior high school took showers together. I basically had a permanent welt on my bottom from people snapping towels at me because, I wasn't as well endowed as I probably should be. I had, pretty good sized boy boobs and basically was just unhappy being in sports. But it happens everywhere. I have been sexually assaulted, and it didn't work out well for any of them. It's real. Let me just put it that way. It's absolutely real.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to find a person who hasn't been sexually harassed in some way, shape, or form, whether you are male or female. I think it's an experience that we all share because we are in somewhat of a hyper-sexualized society, and people love to make those comments public. I am a podcaster and I do social media for a living, so as you can imagine, the onslaught of sexual harassment is quite vast.
From a very young age, I've had this recurring nightmare of something
Never mind. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Trying to warn people and no one believes me.
It's like you're a conservative podcaster.
When you're not believed that you're a desirable
you're
person.
conservative political commentator.
I really don't think rape has anything to do with desire, but when you're not believed in that way, when trans women are experiencing trans misogyny, we're the ones who are least believed when we are sexually assaulted. And it just feels so disempowering and so terrifying when you know that you are someone who is seen as hypersexual, as inherently sexual, as inherently predatory, and yet at the same time you're seen as someone who
absolutely
can be isolated and sexually assaulted and not believed.
I don't think there's anything inherently predatory about trans people, and
fuck off, dude. I don't know if it was her, but she definitely early on in the video was making those like super common, like 101 level, like right-wing arguments about like, like Ben Shapiro level of like, anything related to LGBTQ or LGBTQ adjacent is inherently sexual. Like at least this person was. I feel like this person was making similar arguments.
I think
but this is the problem with this person. Like I said this earlier, I don't know if I said this while you were here, but like she is an expert at like taking kind of reasonable points and then infusing her like disgusting transphobia into it. But again, she is like a PragerU host.
Oftentimes when we're talking from a conservative perspective, it gets misconstrued as viewing you as a threat, and I hope that that never comes off. And I think that allegations of sexual assault, regardless of where they're coming from, should be taken seriously.
What a sinister piece of shit this person is. Like of all these people, she's the only one who is like sociopathically malicious.
We found common ground.
I think we agreed on something.
We found common ground.
Holy shit, that was infuriating. Oh man. Well, do I want to keep going? Pays the bills, yeah. There's another one I found. Do Republicans and Democrats ever agree?
Black Lives Matter.
Oof. I guess all lives matter.
Why is that?
because I feel like my life matters too, and I'm not black.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hello there.
I'm Ryan, and I'm a
Was he doing Obi-Wan?
Republican.
And I'm a Republican.
I am a Democrat.
And I'm a Democrat. I am part of the Democratic Party.
What are some stereotypes?
Libs. Do I have an emote or like a better Twitch TV emote? I think it's a Hassan emote that I stole. Yeah, this one. Or do you have better Twitch TV?
About Republicans.
We're all old, rich, white guys.
I mean, statistically, that's true, right? Like, Republicans lean older. They lean very white.
Southerners, uneducated.
What do you need to see it? Oh, bro, you don't even have better Twitch TV? Excuse me. Yeah, check this out. Excuse me. Right here, you see this little emote? There's tons of fun emotes on better Twitch TV. Even on Hassan's channel that you're missing out on. Let me show you what I got on mine. Look at these good emotes. Hoggers. Hoggium. A lot of fun ones. There we go. Peepo Trans, since we're on like transgender topics. Anyway, staring into infinity. Oh, my bad. How do I get rid of that? Oh, that's not the right link. Better Twitch TV. It's not a virus, I swear. The other one is Franker Faces, which either one or the other lets you enable the other. Excuse me. I'm gonna mute my mic. Yeah, I would definitely download these on desktop. I think you can have them on Android too. But there are a lot of emotes. So like, since you're so this is another tip I will give you as a fledgling streamer. Until you become affiliated or an affiliate, you're not going to have any emotes. But better Twitch TV. So like, here's my dashboard. Here are my emotes that, like, you know, you can pick. So like, you can go to dashboard and there are just tons and tons of emotes. Oh, how do I find more emotes? Trending emotes, top emotes. It's like all these emotes you can enable on your channel for people to use. There's just tons and tons and tons and tons of them. And I think with a free Better Twitch TV account, you can have 50 emotes. So I would definitely recommend looking into both Better Twitch TV and Franker Faces.
Inclusive.
Probably doesn't like different people.
They're all religious.
That they're like hyper religious and just really hateful.
Again, like statistics, like, yeah, all of you guys are users have to have it as well, right? Yeah, they do. But they're very, very popular, like very common, like these are not niche. So
What do you think Republicans said are stereotypes?
like, let's look at how many emotes Hassan has. So if you want any like perspective, like most of the emotes you see in like Hassan's chat are gonna be Better Twitch TV emotes. Phone number banned from Hassanavi. Let me see. Look at all these emotes. Look at all these emotes Hassan has enabled. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, there you go. Keck W. Did you download it? Let's go, dude. Let's fucking go. So yeah, I would get these set up on your account as well. Here, I'm gonna pull a Hassan. I gotta pee. I'll be back. Let me throw something on for you.
Day, you're campaigning for Donald Trump. One day, it's about being independent. The next day, I'm hearing about you going into business with some white man. Make up your mind. I think Kanye is trying to figure out where he is, but he got to make up his mind because you're too helter-skelter. And at this point, I'm going to be honest with you. Although I appreciate Kanye's honesty, I think most of his agenda is about Kanye. And I'm going to say that because when I look at our black billionaire class, whether it's Kanye, whether it's Oprah, whether it's Jay-Z,
He's not in that class
whether
no
it's
more.
Tyler Perry, even if he's no longer in that class.
Dude, oh my God. Charlemagne is so petty. This is a unique opportunity for Charlemagne where he could just like keep shitting on Kanye relentlessly and not look bad. Like he is going to automatically look good in the situation.
None of them, LeBron, Puffy, none of them have built an independent black institution for the black community anywhere in this country. Not one.
How many lashes would Kanye get?
Kanye would probably get, I'm still working on Kanye lash count because I want to see where he ends up. I need him to make up his mind and then stay there.
Okay.
And I need him to be a little bit more articulate with what he says because although I think Kanye is on the right track, he's not articulating himself well enough. He's not controlling his public narrative. So when I do interviews like this or any interview, I go out of my way to be careful with my wording so nobody can try to use it against me later. You have to try to control your narrative, and he will get.
Yeah, that's why he said European.
All right, let's finish this video.
Text about Democrats.
We don't have a backbone. We don't want to work for anything. We're communists.
They want to turn the country into a dictatorship.
They're the party of diversity. Interestingly enough, the majority of the Democratic Party is still white.
What's some?
Wait, what? Like, yeah, the majority of the country is still white, so both parties are going to be majority white. But like, the question is, what percentage of, like, I don't know, black people are Democrats versus Republicans? That's where the question becomes more interesting.
Something you
So yeah, what a dumb way to frame that.
find annoying about Republicans. I feel
What's something I find annoying about Republicans? I don't even know how I would begin to answer that question. Like, do I find them annoying? I don't know. Like, I find them frustrating. Like, that's what I find them. Annoying, I don't know if I'd use the word annoying to describe Republicans. Maybe weirdos like Ben Shapiro.
I feel like Republicans just kind of think they're right and they don't really want to listen to what anyone else has to say.
A lot of Republicans tell me I am not a real Christian because I vote Democrat and because I am pro-choice. My political affiliation has nothing to do with my faith.
What's something you find annoying about Democrats?
They have a way of expressing their concerns on a more obvious ways, protesting, marches, and so on.
Dog, he's saying, I find protest annoying. Like, you're crazy, dude. Like, one of the fundamental freedoms of our First Amendment, like freedom of speech, the ability to protest. I find that annoying. That's why cut a fucking Republican, a fascist bleeds. He's like, protests are annoying. We should stop that. Holy shit, dude. That one is the voters for Trump. Yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother. Now it is the truckers. The trucker convoy. Dude, what a take, man.
Me being a brown woman, I feel like they're really good at like acting like they care. They're not doing anything for me.
That's true. That is like a W take for like Democrats. You know what I mean? Like, Fucking oh my god, dude. Nancy Pelosi leaning or kneeling. How do you spell kneeling? Holy shit, it's fucking late for me. Where are you from, by the way? Is that too personal? Look at this. Fucking Nancy Pelosi wearing like traditional, like, you know, black African. Yo, West Coast, best coast, dude. I'm from Washington. Like, yeah, this is like the Democratic Party at its best. Like, we're going to kneel for you. Oh my God, we care about you so much. But when actually trying to fix the socioeconomic conditions that cause, like, the issues black people face, the Democrats are not going to do anything about that. They're not going to do anything about that. Prison reform, police reform, not touching it. Nothing. Nada. But we'll do this. Oh, we'll do this. So she's absolutely right that the Democrats are not going to do anything to support black communities and posit like they're gonna. She's 100% right. Meanwhile, you've got like progressives who are not really Democrats. You have some progressives who are Democrats, like your AOC. You have Bernie Sanders, who caucuses with the Democrats. He's obviously an independent. I vote for Democrats. I don't know if I'm registered as a Democrat, but obviously I have to vote for Democrats. Like, what am I going to do? But no, progressives can articulate the ways we want to help the black community. Absolutely. But she is correct in saying the Democrats don't want to do that. But it is like still, you know, it's difficult to articulate that like progressives and Democrats are two different things. You know what I mean? Which is hilarious that they're like, Republicans will go like, Democrats are communists, brother. Like, no, like they're not. They're closer to, Democrats are closer to Republicans, infinitely closer to Republicans than they are to like socialists or communists or even like soc dems. Democrats are closer to Republicans than they are soc dems, like social democrats. Nancy said, best we got is a knee. Dude, for real, man. For real. That's Chuck Schumer, too. It's not just Nancy. That is Chuck Schumer. Right there, right beside her. Wearing the same... I'm being fucking bad. I don't remember the name of this traditional garb. She's the worst. I mean... She sucks. She's California, right? Probably not your district. Yeah, she sucks, but like she is just every Democrat. Like she sucks as much as every Democrat does. Apart from your AOCs, your Rashida Tlaib's, whatever. Pramila Jayapal is from Washington State. Not in my district, but close to my district. But you have genuine progressives who just happen to be the Democratic Party, but they do not make up the majority of the Democrats themselves. Progressive, this is something actually that was interesting. So I say that, but I'm going to kind of contradict myself. The Progressive Caucus is actually pretty big in the Democratic Party. So I don't know. Oh, you can't see this. Let me move myself here. Boom. Hell yeah, dude. Pramila Jayapal, chairwoman of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, is from my state, the 7th Congressional District. So yeah, she's smack dab in Seattle. I live closer to here. But yeah, Pramila Jayapal is awesome. She is a fat W. But you can see here, 99 out of the 220 Dems in the House are part of the Progressive Caucus. I'm not going to say there are 99 progressives in there. Probably at least half of them, I would say, probably are. Here's the best part. 1 seat in the Senate. 1 seat in the Senate. And obviously, I'm sure you can guess who that is. You can see the spoiler over here. It's my man Bernie. So this is a good sign. I think this number gets bigger every year. Let's see. Yeah, so this number's getting bigger every year. So starting in 2010, we actually had 2 seats in 2010 in the Senate. But we went from 77 to 68, 68, 78, 96, 95, and right now we're at 99. So pretty much going up for progressives. What are your views, generally speaking? Like, are you more of a soc dem? Are you a socialist? Are you a communist, democratic socialist? How would you define yourself? I personally don't love labels in general, but I just say big tent socialist. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm still learning, you know what I mean? Like, to the point where, like, I don't know enough about, like, leftism in general to really define myself. I understand and sympathize with a lot of the, beliefs of communists and socialists. Would I call myself a communist or whatever? I don't know enough about it to really do that at this point. But I'm learning more every day. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, yeah, fuck Nancy Pelosi. She's right about the dumb sucking. But the full context is a little bit, there's more to it than what she's saying.
Say it's better, like, be honest. If you say you care about me and my people, actually do something.
But she's a Republican. What are Republicans doing for your people? Like, the Dems are keeping the status quo. Like, I'll admit, that's bad. The status quo for black people is bad. The Republicans are actively making it worse. So, like, what is she talking about?
It's better, like, be honest. If you say you care about me and my people, actually do something.
Like, say that about the Republicans now. Like, what are you doing?
Do your best impersonation of a Republican.
Black lives don't matter.
What?
All lives matter.
We'd have some like boots. Definitely not Doc Martens. Those are Democratic boots. The Republican.
There's a lot to take in. Exactly, dude. It feels a little bit inaccessible. Like, especially with someone with, like, as little time as I do, which is, like, no time at all. Like, I say that and I'm streaming for 4 hours. Like, this, I give myself time to do projects. I also have a YouTube channel, so, like, but, Anyway, Richard Wolf and Noam Chomsky have some good insights on capitalism and socialism worth checking out. Yeah, I mean, like, I've watched a lot of videos. I've heard these guys talk. I watch Hassan, like, when I'm at work. I put on Hassan as often as I can. So I hear a lot of, like, socialism talking points, anti-capitalist talking points, and I, like, believe a huge amount of it. It's just, like, how do I feel about, like, socialist economic organizations, communist economic organizations? I have a lot of questions, and I don't know. I live in a pretty conservative area, and so I don't, like, all of the people I interact with are fucking conservatives and reactionaries. There's no one, like, who's progressive or leftist in my area. I want to talk to people who are knowledgeable about this stuff and get my questions answered. You know what I mean? But, like, yeah, like, for the most part, like, principally, I agree with the vast majority of these, like, socialist, leftist, anti-capitalist, especially, takes. For a while, I called myself a soc dem, but I think I'm more left than soc dems at this point. You know what I mean? But, yeah.
Republican boots or the cowboy.
But thank you for the Rex.
Boots.
Do your best impersonation of a Democrat.
I would need tighter pants to really.
You fucking loser, dude. I almost did a spit take. Oh, do tighter pants. Dude, conservatives are so just, like, smug and annoying, dude. Ugh, tight pants. Ugh. Liberals and their tight pants. Oh my god. It's easier to flesh out ideas when you can talk about it with people. The closest I ever got was in college. I had a professor who taught, oh god, what class was it? It was literally like a social justice class. Like, and I don't say that like as a pejorative. I actually learned a lot from that class and from this professor about social justice. I took like 2 social justice classes in college, and it definitely helped me become more progressive. But this guy was an actual socialist. And I think he caught that, like, I was not, like, a lib, and I wasn't, like, a conservative, obviously. So he would, like, sometimes ask me to, like, hang out after class. Like, we'd get coffee and, like, talk and on campus. And we talk about all sorts of stuff. We just, hung out. But sometimes he would try and like sneak in socialism. And I remember just like not really being into it because I said I wasn't a lib. I was definitely a lib at that point, but I was still like a progressive lib. You know what I mean? But the lib in me was like, isn't socialism like that bad thing that I was taught? Like I said, I grew up in a very conservative area, surrounded by conservatives. All my friends had very conservative parents. My parents were socially very conservative. They come from Eastern Europe. So it's just what I knew. So I wish I gave this guy the time of day, but I didn't really. Look up worker cooperatives. Yeah, dude, like that kind of stuff. Like I understand what I understand what co-ops are, and I'm like fully in favor of them. And I'm fully in favor of like lots of businesses being more cooperative. But one of the questions I want to discuss with like socialists is like, should every business be a cooperative? And this is something, again, about socialism that I don't fully understand. Like some socialist organizations are like every business is its own little co-op, right? And the workers control some means of some production. Some other socialist economic organizations are more like all workers own all means of production equally. And so, yeah, there are a lot of like question marks for me. Not like I don't think this could work, more just like I'd like some things clarified before I like define myself in that way, if that makes sense. But like broadly speaking, I am absolutely in favor of workplace democratization, like broadly, unquestionably. Most businesses would benefit from being co-ops. And like at minimum, all of these businesses should be paying their employees more, that sort of thing. That's where I'm at right now. Totally understandable. I have some questions I need to dive into as well. It's a marathon, not a race. Yeah, absolutely. I think some people, very few, overwhelming minority. Everyone, like I go in Hassan's Discord, everyone has been very open to my libness and like my questions. And I do ask some questions in Hassan's Discord too, and I get great answers. It's just something I need to put more time into. The overwhelming majority of people are like willing to have a dialogue. Some people are like, they'll call me a lib and like move on, which I understand too. But it's definitely a journey. And like, you always think you're at the end of your journey. I thought I was at the end of my journey several times in my like transition from more conservative as a teenager. Like I was pretty socially, I was a complete reactionary shithead when I was a teenager. I'm 28 now. From like 0 to 17, I was a reactionary. 17, I discovered Reddit, and Reddit is a generally progressive place. And so that introduced me to more progressive beliefs. But I was very reactionary then. And then like, 2016 rolls around, I discover Bernie, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sock them. Boom. That's the answer. Social democracy, nothing more, nothing less. And for years, I was like a sock them. Then I discovered Hassan, summer of last year, summer of 21, and he's been slowly moving me more and more left. So yeah, absolutely. I do not think I'm at the end of my journey at this point. I don't know if there is ever going to be an end to the journey, to learning. Maybe there will be. I'm not open to there not being one. But I definitely don't think I'm at that point right now. Absolutely. There's just so much I don't know. And you don't know what you don't know, too. So anyway, I'm rambling.
Hipster look going.
So have you been boosted?
Fuck it, I gotta hear this again.
The Republican boots or the cowboy boots?
Do your best impersonation of a Democrat.
I would need tighter pants.
God,
really
fuck off, dude. You're not
going.
funny.
So have you been boosted?
Take your COVID shot.
We must ban assault weapons right now.
Clip that. I gotta clip that. Oh my god.
Boosted?
Take your COVID shot.
We must ban assault weapons right now.
That's me, dude, every day. Every day. That is me right there. Holy shit.
That was the best commitment I've seen all day. Who's kinkier?
Kinkier?
Democrats. Republicans tend to have a more conservative point of view.
I would say Republicans. There's something about those like church girls and like the conservative people that when their world is open, they get down.
I would say the Republicans.
Yeah, it's called, repressing people. Like, yeah, it's going to, like, make them, go wild when they finally realize that the oppressive shit that they've been told is bullshit.
Because it's always the nice-seeming people.
There's a build-up, a build-up that comes out.
Who are the freakiest.
Democrats.
Why do you say that?
They're very open. It's not vanilla.
Have you ever had sex with someone of your opposing party?
Yes.
Have I ever had sex with someone of my opposing party? Is this TMI? This is probably TMI. Kind of. Like, when I was a reactionary teenager, my first girlfriend was like a liberal. Like, I call myself a reactionary. I like didn't care about politics. Like, I just didn't think about it. I had reactionary beliefs. Like, I was very homophobic. I was transphobic. And so that's why we broke up. Like, that's probably part of why we broke up. But she was a liberal, and like, so at that point, yeah, we had separate party. You could say separate party.
How was it?
It was great.
Have you ever had sex with someone of the opposing party?
Yes. Like, afterwards, they were very, like, shameful of it. I kind of understand because they were religious, but, like, the act itself wasn't bad.
Who's more problematic?
Democrats.
Democrats.
The leadership of the Democratic Party. Democratic voters themselves, I wouldn't say that's the case.
What? Like, more problematic are the Democrats? In what way? I wish, like, this video is 5 minutes long. I want more clarification. Like, what do you mean? Like, sexual assault, like pedophilia. Republicans have like all the W's on those. You know what I mean? Like, 99% of them come from Republicans.
What do you think the Democrats said?
Oh, they definitely said conservatives, especially after Trump. Well, she was a spicy man. But I mean, freedom of speech.
You fucking dumbass. The fuck kind of take is that? Like, the question is who's problematic? You pull up Donald Trump and you just hand wave it. You say Democrats, then you hand wave away the most like problematic person who's like ever walked the fucking earth. That's psychotic.
Republicans. Just because storming the Capitol has never crossed the Democratic Party's mind, ever.
Both.
I don't think either group is problematic.
Interesting
I think
takes.
The extremes of both ends are problematic. We
both sides, Andy, centrist Andy. It's not the same. It's not the same, dude. Like, I think one side is like, I think all trans people should be dead. One side is all people should have health care. Like, yeah, non sequitur, whatever. Like, that's the dichotomy here. There's not like one is like they're equally bad. Like, it's insane.
And paint the other as the extreme. And I think, how do we have conversations? How do we...
No, fuck, dude. One is extreme. That's the fucking problem.
See the humanness of the other person.
Black Lives...
Bro, the other person is saying half the people on that side are not human. You know? Non-white, non-cisgendered people. You know what I mean?
Matter, all lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
I guess all lives matter.
Why is that?
Because I feel like my life matters too. And I'm not black.
This is one of those things where this is a huge topic, but I think the left has a messaging problem. All of our messaging sucks. The answer is because all of our beliefs are significantly more nuanced than conservative beliefs. That's just the truth. But it results in messaging in these bite-sized sound bites to be very difficult. So something like Black Lives Matter, when that slogan came out, like 2014 is when it got big. I mean, I was like, what do you mean Black Lives Matter? I matter. I'm white. What do you mean my life? Does that... It sounds bad. And I get why people have a reaction to it. Because it requires a lot more nuance to explain what that means. You can't condense the Black Lives Matter like movement, the Black Lives Matter, you could call it an ideology, into a 3-word soundbite. It just doesn't work. It's too nuanced. The same with like defund the police. When that came out, that was 2020. I was already a pretty hardcore progressive at that point, but I heard that and I was like, wait, the left are trying to defund the police? Well, what do you mean? Are we insane? We want no amount of police whatsoever? Like, defund sounds like $0 spent on policing in our country. That's what defund the police sounds like. That is not what the defund the police slogan is saying. But that requires unthinkable amounts of nuance. You can't condense. We need to create vast systemic reforms that completely change the way we handle criminal justice in the United States, while retaining some amount of policing and some amount of community policing, while also investing in social work and, mental health care. I could keep going, but I'll stop right there and say you can't condense that into a 3-word slogan. So what do we get out of that? We get defund the police. For Republicans, it's easy. You can just say pro-life. Boom. There's no nuance to it. There's nothing to explain in pro-life. They have a significantly smaller challenge when it comes to messaging. The left has an infinitely difficult challenge when it comes to messaging. And I say this as a communications major. I say this as someone who is currently working in marketing. I know I'm a class traitor, whatever. That's just the truth. So yeah, like Black Lives Matter, like I fully support Black Lives Matter, obviously, but I think it's a shit slogan, frankly. 'Cause if you're trying to convince people to join your side, it's a shit slogan. And that's just how I feel about it.
It's not even a thing of people don't understand the whole Black Lives Matter thing. It's they don't want to admit that they understand.
If I was to choose between the two, I'd say all lives matter. It's just way too encompassing the term. It's the same thing with Black Lives Matter. I believe in general that Black lives matter, but do I believe that Black zoosafe?
It doesn't. Here's the thing. When you say Black Lives Matter, and this was my hang up in 2014 when I first heard it, it sounds like you're saying only Black Lives Matter. Maybe some people don't hear it that way. Obviously, people who were probably more left-leaning never heard it that way. But coming from like a normie's perspective, I can totally, absolutely sympathize with someone, with someone hearing Black Lives Matter and thinking it sounds like, because it's not inclusive sounding, those 3 words, Black Lives Matter. It's not inclusive. So you create something as stupid as All Lives Matter to make up for it, which gives the Republicans an easy dub. What do you mean Black Lives Matter? All Lives Matter. How do you counter All Lives Matter? This is what I'm saying, dude. We have to face an uphill battle. We have to fight against All Lives Matter. That is our fucking fight. Like, how do you do that? It's incredibly difficult, which is why we're at the position that we're at when it comes to this shit. Anyways, I keep rambling. Holy shit.
Lives matter or Black pedophile lives matter. No, I think terms like that.
Whoa, wait, what? That just went to 0 to 100 in like 4 seconds. What the fuck?
Just way too all-encompassing and don't allow for any nuance.
All lives matter, of course.
Bro's talking about nuance, dude. Holy shit.
But Black Lives Matter as much as any others. When you spend so much time...
Oh my god, bro. Can someone ask this old fucker, what does Black Lives Matter mean? What does Black Lives Matter mean to you? What do you think people who say Black Lives Matter are trying to say? That's what I want to hear. That's what I need to hear.
Saying that, it makes it sound like nobody else's does.
Exactly what I just said. Thank you, Mr. Old Man. It's true. Black Lives Matter, and she's looking at him like he's crazy. Isn't she a conservative? Black Lives Matter, unfortunately, does sound like you're saying only Black Lives Matter, and or other lives don't matter. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. I understand that's not what the movement is saying, but that's what it sounds like. And this man proved my point. Like, this is a conservative man saying what he feels that statement says. And I completely empathize with that. I completely sympathize with that.
Black Lives Matter. It's
Okay,
almost like a
let's go.
child
Let's
when
go.
it's like, why can't we all matter? That's not the point of it's not the point of the phrase. It's not always about you. We get to have a moment too.
That's maybe the like worst way to like describe the Black Lives Matter movement, which makes sense why like that's how a conservative would like put it. But like it's like you're kind of right, but like also that was like the worst way to like frame the Black Lives Matter movement.
Pro-choice, pro-life.
I'm pro-choice.
Pro-life.
Pro-choice.
Pro-choice.
Why pro-choice?
There should not be anyone telling anyone what to do with their own body.
Pro-choice. The Republican Party at its base was about freedom.
Last one.
Let's go, brother.
Give Republicans a compliment.
Give Republicans a compliment? Dude, impossible difficulty. Okay, I've already failed. I could not do it. Your logo is cool. Elephants are cool. I like elephants. They're smart. They're intelligent animals. They never forget. Kind of a shit logo, icon for Republicans. But no, I failed. I can't say anything positive about Republicans or conservatives.
I
give
the
up.
fact that you are very well spoken and stand for what you believe in.
What?
I think that's a really good characteristic to have, to be strong-willed in that way.
Democrats know how to win. Sometimes Republicans don't.
They're very good.
Did this man just say Democrats know how to win? Dude, Democrats actively try to lose. These people are completely brain dead.
Motivating their base. Republicans have a harder time getting people charged up and to vote.
You guys have some pretty decent concepts, like being pro-choice. That's a good move.
What do you think some Democrats said?
They probably struggled on that one.
Yeah,
After Trump,
straight
we
up.
probably pissed a lot of them off.
Straight up. And I'm not apologetic about it. American conservatives are fucking nuts. We should not have something positive to say about them. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Straight up. What is this? Hassan wins second to last bracket H3 soundbite tournament.
Hassan took the lead, so you can still say it, AB.
I can't do that to him.
51%
Yes!
Hassan, Flock of 49%.
Let's go!
Wants to let you call Dan a cracker, AB.
Can't handle the
I think AB might be banned.
No,
because
he
he's
has
a
to
Twitch
call it.
streamer.
He has to call Dan a cracker.
Oh, good point, love.
No!
49% Flocka, 51% Hassan. This is close as it possibly gets here today. How are you feeling, AB?
I feel like people always wonder what if Hassan's chat didn't see that we were live? What would the results have been? Could Flock have gone the distance?
What if Ethan didn't keep
Don't
bringing
ask,
it up
though.
and encourage
They would
his
have
chat?
seen it. They would have seen it.
Nobody was even thinking that until you
They
started
always
doing it.
come here.
Literally, it
You
wasn't
think in the
happening until you
finals
brought it up.
Of the biggest tournament of the year, Hassan wouldn't fucking know he was in it.
We pulled up his stream. He wasn't watching, wasn't talking
This
about
is
it at
bigger
all.
than the
And then you
streaming.
brought it up, and then immediately people went over to him and said,
Yeah,
"Hey,
because
this is what's
they
going
noticed
on."
at the same time me were in the quarterfinals. Hassan doesn't notice he's in the biggest event of the year.
The biggest event of the year.
17,000, 49% holding strong.
These are
I
all
also
registered
don't want Flocker to win
votes.
because I know it will break.
These are all
That is
registered
true.
I don't want it to
votes.
win either because of that. I would kind of like to say that I got.
You accept that?
Zach works so hard, and for him, all of his accomplishments to be overshadowed by the stupid Flocker
Hold on,
meme.
but Zach's genius
Hold
is his
on.
placement
But
of the sound.
I think that this whole competition is Zach's, everything, all the sound bites are his
except
doing.
the Flocka.
I know, but I don't
So
think
if
that.
it won, that's devastating.
Zach, would you be devastated if Flocka won? Would it hurt you?
I wouldn't be devastated, no.
Would it hurt you?
I mean, look, it's my job to, pull all these different sound bites and,
It would hurt a little bit.
I guess a little, maybe.
Yeah. I saw comments leading up being like, it would be funny to imagine Zach's reaction. It'd be funny to fuck with him.
Well, the debate is over because Flocka is now down by 2 percentage.
Let's
points,
go!
48% to 52%. We're going to call it. That is Hassan up. This is the top
Congrats,
of the
Hassan.
subreddit.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay. I don't know how I'm feeling. I'll watch this.
protest against stealing AI from ArtStation? No, I have not heard about it, but it is a very interesting situation. It's a very interesting situation, the AI art thing, because on the one hand, I feel like it pushes boundaries, but also on the other hand, it's like you're literally just like stealing. Like it's kind of just like stealing the hard work of like human beings. I have not fully developed my thoughts on it. I don't know how to describe it because it's like one of those things that could greatly improve on pre-existing art. You know what I mean? Like if done correctly, it's like
In his latest move as boss, Musk wielding his power as CEO to suspend several well-known journalists without much explanation overnight. However, some of those accounts he temporarily axed from Twitter include people who have been critical of him. Overnight, Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, suspending the accounts of multiple journalists for allegedly violating the company's new doxing policy by sharing his live location. Doxing referring to sharing someone's identity, address, or other personal information online. Late Thursday, Musk joined a Twitter Spaces conference to address the decision.
You're doxed.
This was the best part of this, okay?
You get suspended. End of story. That's it.
The wave of suspensions comes on the heels.
Okay, let's watch the full video, okay? My man was in there for 3 minutes and 37 seconds. We already know exactly what happened. Elon Musk is bitch made, very thin-skinned, takes down Jack Sweeney after claiming that he was going to keep up like every flight tracker account, including his own flight tracker account. That's his commitment to free speech. It's absolute. He turns around, decides, no, I'm not going to do that on a whim, and starts clapping ass cheeks, okay? Not only that, but he also turns around and starts banning journalists who are covering the story. There's no difference between what Elon Musk is doing here. I'm Turkish, okay? So I have a very different perspective on shit like this. What Elon is doing here and what Jeff Bezos did with Washington Post is something that I've seen already, okay? This happened in Turkey. Rich people love buying media outlets and communication networks. So
Yo, if you're still in
it,
here,
okay?
thank you for hanging out as
Now,
long as
in
you did,
America,
man. You
it's
did
a little
not need to
different
do that.
because
So if that was
capitalism is king.
Hey,
They're
anyway,
not like
doesn't
just
matter. Have a good night.
government-aligned rich people that are
Hope-
buying the
if you need
outlets
anything
so
else,
they
let
can
me
do
know.
propaganda for
All right,
the
bye.
government, okay? But like a wonderful opportunity for artists to go beyond what they've been able to, perfecting your craft, and then a machine can just the hard work of like human beings. I have not fully developed my thoughts on it. I don't know how to describe it because it's like one of those things that could greatly improve on pre-existing art. You know what I mean? Like if done correctly, it's like a wonderful opportunity for artists to go beyond what they've been able to do. Like if it was conducted by people who are willingly participating in like the AI taking their brush strokes, you know what I mean? And then other people worked upon that and incorporated AI art into their human art. It could literally it could move mountains. You know, you would be in the new age of art. Ultimately, all art is derivative, and this kicks it up a notch. But the issue itself is that it ultimately is currently stealing from dead artists. It's currently stealing from people who have not consented to it. It's weird. It's a weird structure. Yeah, the problem is that the art is being trained on is being taken without consent at the end of the day. I thought you didn't believe in IP. I don't, which is why I'm saying that like I understand where it's coming from, but you're not stealing. That isn't IP at that point. That's work. You're like stealing someone's labor. Now you could say IP is someone's labor always, but like you're taking a human.
Fucking muted, Andy. This is one thing I don't agree with Hassan, and it's his takes on IP. I think IP maybe should exist to some extent. Maybe in a perfect, post-singularity, fully automated space communist utopia, I could agree with that to an extent. But as of right now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with Hassan. In a perfect world, sure.
Who has spent thousands of hours perfecting their strokes, and you're just literally taking it like that and using a computer to immediately masterfully recreate it in a way that is like impossible for people. Like, bro, I saw a Van Gogh painting once and it influenced me. Do I owe his family royalties? Are you a computer that can literally fucking take the Van Gogh and recreate it perfectly? I don't think so, right? The AI who use a process of reproducibility characterized by a process of mechanization, not creating art, but rather a commodity. The way photography caused abstract modern art, AI is going to cause people to react by making some weird ass non-AI shit. Yeah. No, I think like every artistic, like every art phase has, you know, a little bit of theft in the beginning. All art is derivative. This is like kicking it into the next stage, basically, where it's just creating carbon copies of non-consensual forms of art that people put a lot of time and effort into. But I do have hope because I understand the human condition. I have hope that this will inevitably, despite the fact that like in the early stages, it's just going to fucking steal from people. It's going to steal people's styles. It's going to steal people's like fucking brushstrokes and shit like that. Ultimately, it will lead to better art overall. I do genuinely believe that. I also personally think that a lot of artists are understandably frustrated by this because like you're kind of mad that a machine basically took what you worked for years on in perfecting and can now churn it out better than you can. Because it's not like the machine took what you made or took your brushstrokes and literally recreated your painting, then that would just be a copy. The machine is taking your brushstrokes, your hard-earned work, and literally churning out art in a way that you never will be able to. Like you're just not, as a human, you're not fast enough to be able to like make random fucking, turn random paintings and people and whatever the fuck into like the exact same form of art. You gotta eat Haas. Wait, what? Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, this is the same exact problem, which I never thought would happen in the artistic field, but this is the same exact problem with automation. It's like people getting mad at automation. You're not mad at automation, you're mad at capitalism. If your art was, if your art was not how you fucking made a living, and barely at that, you know what I mean? Just you're not getting paid well enough, then nobody would be complaining about this because they would think that this would really kick art into the next level, which I do think it can. The only reason why AI art is a problem is because it is stealing labor value without people consenting. Don't cry when a news robot wins the streaming news award. Yeah, I know. Like that's what I mean with like Chat GPT